Hello, I am Brenda, and I am a medicine woman, and this is my show called Medicine Woman Solution. And this is a lot of things that are coming up. I can't seem to wear my contacts today, so this is the way I'm going to come across. And as we wait for everybody to come in the room, that's wonderful. Good. Say hello. You know, that's always good to know. This way it registers that I can see you and that things are working. Good morning to all of you. There's a lot of new things that are coming up. The pull from the universe is yanking me to do this. So there is going to be a group. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. There's going to be classes. I'm not sure what that is. I just know that I have to begin. I spent most of the morning trying to figure out how to get, because of the money situation, you have to figure out how do you do things. Well, I want a classroom that's live, and I want it to be free at this point until I can afford to pay what they're asking a month. But the group, finding the right name so that energetically it can suit vibrationally with the planet. Numerology is very important. This first class has got to be about healing. I have got people that are sick but can't afford to pay. I've got people that don't quite understand that the type of healing that I do, because they have tried many different people, many different things. And what it always boils down to is they're still having mental and emotional issues. So this first particular group that we're going to do will be a mental, it's balancing, I think, mental and emotional health. So balancing the mental and emotional health, that should be the name should be is. It's very clear. Amy, can you mute your thing until I talk to you? So the balancing of this is so important. I can't hold on. So do your best to be quiet over there. Okay. I have to wait until she's done because I can't focus. So I'm going to mute myself, I guess. Not sure if that even matters. Nope, it's just me that mutes her. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to have to turn her down completely and not screw it up. So, done with technical difficulties. The planet is really telling you that it's time to beef up and balance out your duality. The masculine energy, the yang energy, has been on this planet for so long, being, I don't want to say in charge. It's not about dominancy. It's not about control. It's about the experimentals of what will happen if the yang energy was in charge. And we've seen it. We've seen that it's the outward experience. We've seen that it's the expression. We got a lot of things from it. I want to talk about it's not about blame. It's not about this. It's about your experiences of what your soul's doing with the duality that was in the 3D. I've been debating very hard whether I should do 12 and 12 gateway, the doorway. It's very important. It really is. But do I do it or I don't? I know that it'd benefit many. A lot of people have benefited from 1111 gateway. That's been good. But what do I do? So it's only in a few days' time. It doesn't matter. It starts to build up now. And then when it hits 12-12, then it's at the strongest peak, and then a few days after. So what does all this mean? It means that you have a chance to develop who you are, without any help, you know, no tools. The planet's going to do its things. The planet, Mother Earth, is already doing her thing. And there is just many things that's got to happen. Where do we take place? Well, first of all, when it comes to Mother Earth, she knows how to correct herself, you know, whether she keeps the people on the planet or not. Now, this time around, I heard, yes, she is. So, you know, there's that safety that we have. Mother Earth is going to adjust and correct herself. And so that means all the old information is going to start coming to the surface. You're going to find probably the unique things that's been under ice for so long. Well, what does that mean about the places that are completely dry? You may get more wet. Rivers, if you look throughout history, you'll see different geological landmarks and things like this. And we are so much into this yang energy of being out here that we don't know how to have a transcendental moment inside ourselves. We have been children raising children. I don't care if you're 40 years old and have your first kid. If you have a trapped emotion, an unresolved story that haven't been resolved or released, then you, let's say you had an issue at 3 years old. So your 3-year-old is going to try to raise a child. This is what happens, is that if you developed manipulating tools that worked or didn't work, or if you had the hell put into you, the fear put into you, then you're afraid to step up into the world. And then you have to been taught that you've got to be really grateful for everything that you do. And you can be too overly grateful. And that sounds strange that when you go to heal it, you have to heal out a positive, but it's called a false positive. During this rise of this energy, things are going to start kicking in to trip off your meridians, to start showing you where your shit is, to start showing you where, you know, you already thought it was crazy as it is. And it probably will get worse. Sorry to say. It'll probably get worse. We want to help you to get through all of these things. You are a human being, and you're moving from a 3D world to a 5D world. You cannot use the same tools you had before in the 3D world. You have to upgrade. And one of the things that we do is we help you level up. We help you move into a state that is about, how do you want to put it? It's moving into a state. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulty again. I can't do this. So I'm just going to shut this down. I'm not sure what just happened. I just was shutting down my iPad and it just completely shut down my group. What the heck is that all about? And there goes all the stuff you type in. It just goes to wacky. Wow. I know things have changed and that's what sucks. Now I've lost everybody again. So it's about these connections. Oh my goodness, it's time to upgrade. I mean, everything on the outside wants our attention. Everything that we've experienced wants our attention. I'm so over it. Everything. Welcome back. I don't understand what just happened. That's not what I did. I was shutting down the iPad because it was screwed up. And for some reason, it shut everything else down. All on its own. I never touched it. I do know that Chrome, ever since I updated Chrome says, oh, sorry, keep updating. And it's like, how many times are you supposed to update it? But Chrome is the only browser that allows Facebook videos. The energy on this planet. Yeah, I'm fine. The energies on this planet has been beefed up. First of all, is my fan too loud for you? Because it's going to start getting hotter in here. I'm not sure how to address my... my growing ability here. What's called, I don't know. We're going to have more technical difficulty, and I'm aware of it. It's how do you handle it? It's how do you address it? It's how you take care of it. As I was saying in my last one, you don't want to take care of it with your 3-year-old self, your 4-year-old self. I mean, what do you mean? I'm 52 years old, and how can I be my 4-year-old self? Well, if you have an arrested development, if you have this ability to be in a state that is when your reaction to life is captured in those moments from the past, and regardless, it will happen to you. What am I saying? Your brain is inside this skull. It's got no light except for what you give it, and what fires together wires together. So every time you think, you wire it. So every time you sit there as a program and think 24/7, oh, why did he leave me? Life is hell. You are firing and wiring your brain a new track that this is how life is going to be. So body's consciousness is impartial and does exactly what its innate healing is supposed to do. And if you program it to live in hell, then it has to deliver hell. So it's a GPS. And so it's 2:00 in the afternoon, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, she's too happy. She's the program states that it's about time for her to think about her lost loved ones or how her mom and dad yelled at her, but she can't think of it that way. So let's have somebody show up and do this. Now, you've heard me. I sound like a broken record, but you got to understand what fires together, wires together. Your brain is not going to put anything else new until you put it in yourself. Okay? And that's going to annoy me. So everything on this planet is all about annoying me right now. You're moving out of the 3D world. I can tell you right now, energetically, my sensory system, my energies are out here being tripped off dramatically because the readjustment into this new planetary alignment, this newest, we've already went past this, is the end of that particular period for the planet. And then we're entering in that new stage in the 5D world. And right now, my nervous system is like, that's what it's doing. And then it tries to pick up signals, because that's what your brain is saying is that our program is so wired that it keeps picking up. So we'll be sitting there, and all of a sudden our kids will go by and enjoy, and it annoys the hell out of us. And we don't understand why. We'll interpret it through whatever other means. And then we'll try to control ourselves. And right now, like for instance, it's like I know that I was tripped into a energetic pattern of where I was to be grateful as a child, and you've been told, well, you better be grateful. I did this for you. And the problem is when the child has been beaten down and spirit's broken, they develop into patterns of being too grateful or always trying to please. And then as you become a mother, as you become older, you're raising a child is, no matter how much I chronologically age, I'll be that 3-year-old when I see aggressive energy or somebody getting mad at me, coming at me, and I will act out like I need to please them. What did I do wrong? Or if your child is, like I've known people that have manipulated the parents, and so then they'll just manipulate relationships because they have an outcome that they want. We learn these patterns and conditioned behaviors when we're young. Okay, this is what happens. We need to raise our inner child. It's time for us to re-raise ourselves. This is what's happening. And I'm fully aware, Amy, you're not on the phone, but I can't give you attention right now. The spirit is agitated by everything, so I have to eliminate sound and stuff like this. I know I was supposed to do a show today. I know that they're having me come to you raw so that you can understand The group healing session, helping you mentally and emotionally, is understand that you're energy. How will I balance this? In this case, do I need to do Wayne Cook? Yes, because a part of me is scrambled. Normally I can balance this, but they're showing me that you also have to, no, what did I do? Your consciousness, that's what you are. And who's buying, who wants your attention? And what attention aren't you getting? And if you understand how energy it's about that attention. And when somebody has had the lack of attention, then they're going to want to get it from somebody else. And if that person that they love is not paying attention to them, then you can come up with all these reasons. It's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this, it's because of that. And it can put a strain on relationships. It can, because all of a sudden you're going to say something that's going to hurt the other person, but it's only your filter you're doing it through. And it's time to raise our children up inside of us. I know I could have been a better mother. I did the best I could. But at the same time, I'm looking at all these programs. And I'm like, it's amazing how you can't see them. And I can see them now. And they're saying that you have to understand how the rawness of your nerves are going to trip certain things. But you are energy. So I want to become more in sync. So I'm going to cross my ankles and I'm going to cross my arms. And I'm just going to sit there and balance my energies. You are energy. And we need to bring that in balance. So it's not a tug of war. So it's not about fighting. So it's not about any of this that our programs are kicking off to tell you. So the first thing is that we're going to have a healing thing. And so it'll be a little bit of talk. But pretty much I will have I'm trying to find a web thing. So you can see me, and then I'll have all the students down below. And as the students and I are interacting, we're going to start off doing some energy and exercises to balance. But we may start off to say, okay, you're going to learn how to measure what you feel. And you're like, well, if I can't feel, well, how about see? You're going to learn about your sensory system. And as you begin to learn about your sensory system, then we're going to start to help you recognize the energies. And then we're going to help you use tools to help balance those energies and to change that thinking. A lot of your thinking has everything to do with the emotions, because the molecular structure inside your body is just waiting and attracting an emotion. So last night, I'm looking at my cells and I'm like, what part of me is attracting in a negative emotion? And I got, wait, what am I attracting? A negative emotion. When? So my 3-year-old self is like, well, I'm attracting in to be yelled at. I'm waiting to be yelled at. So I'm attracting in, what was it? Something in the gallbladder. And it was this towards and away from. I want to move towards being happy, but I have to move away from fear. And so it's just this, or to be attacked, that's what it was. So every time I was happy, I used to get attacked. And every time I used to, I would have to soothe and calm. And so there's these points that you have to understand. So I had to begin to heal. Oh, that's wrong. I had to begin to heal that I was expecting. Okay, here keyword, expecting them to attack. And then I was getting ready to do my reaction. So I was attracting them with my reaction. And if you are in your head trying to solve a problem with the same mind that created it, then you're going to say, oh, look at the behavior. And then you're going to disgustingly talk about it in your head over and over and over again. And then that's a runaway emotion. And then it kicks in your meridians. And usually the gallbladder meridian will be the one that goes in high beta form of thinking. So you are not rational anymore. You're irrational, and you're trying to cope, handle, deal, but you're also trying to survive and have safety and calm down that stability. And when the vibrations in your body kick in, a lot of you know what anxiety feels like. A lot of you want to jump and run. You feel like your heart's going to explode, or you feel like your gut's going to just spill open. your body just starts going crazy. And you're like, I don't know how to cope in with this. And so then you lash out. They found out people that had excruciating pain became very negative people, not because they had a negative aspect, being a pessimist, but the thoughts that came out of the pain, they couldn't go any higher, vibrate any higher or more positive, because the body was controlling it. But the body has a voice. The body has a voice. The body has messages all the time. We're going to be exploring all kinds of things in this group, like messages from the body. What's our sensory system saying? What's going on? It's all the knowledge that I have accumulated over the years from all these different classes, from neuro-linguistic programming, emotional code, body talk. I mean, it's endless. Reiki, it's completely endless. And with a new way of understanding how the brain functions and the heart, and there's all these little brains that are all over your body because that's what your cells do, and it's called consciousness. And to tap into it, to calm yourself down, you're going to learn different little things. Okay, and you're going to learn all these things. Now, we're also going to have another where it's all about just understanding the tools to advance your survival, or healing tools. You're going to grow, and you're going to be able to. Now, so I don't know if you can feel the energy shift inside of me. I didn't do anything except for to balance the left side and the right side of my brain. That was very important to do. I was going to take calls in today, but we seem to be having a lot of technical difficulties as far as to be able to tap into. See, I don't even want the volume on. Okay, so mute your thing, Amy, or I'm going to shut you off. I can't be distracted. So, like I said, I wanted to take calls. One of the things I wanted to do was just set up this class, and I want to have that feedback. I need that feedback. Spirit is like saying, it's time, it's time, it's time. And a lot of you can't afford me. You can't even afford 15 minutes for $30. So panic attacks are absurd. Exactly, Kevin. You want to know why? Because the planet is just, it's taking and it's trying to create this balance. And as it begins to create this balance, oh geez. Okay, Amy, I don't know why you hung up. All right, people. You're just going to have to wait. I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand why it's hung up. I just wanted not to have distractions. But we'll have to fix this. I don't know what's happening. So one of the things that's going to occur is that I have to give up on the fact I want a smooth show today. It's just not going to happen. How you expect it, how you want it, you got to let that go. Because if you don't let that shit go, then all of a sudden it's just going to drive you crazy. So this is where you have to realign and deliberately just say, okay, Spirit, there's a better plan. Now, one of the things is you literally have this plan, and then you have your spirit path. You got to learn how to get on your spirit path. That is the one thing I've been teaching people to do, because once you get in your spirit path, especially in the spirit path that I'm talking about, you're going to realign. Amy, I put her on the spot the other day. I was told somebody needed emergency healing. And I'm like, you need an emergency healing. Okay, somebody needs one. And I'm in the middle of a store. I'm in the mall, on the plaza. I can't do anything. I could, but I'm not going to, because I have to respect myself. What am I supposed to do? So I said to Spirit, okay, this is what we're going to do. Spirit says, I'm going to work through you. and we're going to use a surrogate. See if Amy's available. God love her. So I said, I typed in, Amy, are you available? And Amy said, oh, wait, got to turn the volume on or you can't hear her. You know, bad part is that she's got to see me. So it doesn't help when you've got, oh, jeez. See, it should be simple. I got a phone, should be simple. Volume should be fine. No, we're just going to have issues. And because we're projecting those out, my cells are sucking in and emanating. I need this. And I'm like, no, I don't. I need to heal that. But at the same time, I have to learn a new skill so I can get past my, what do we call it? Amy, you can hear me or not?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Where's the volume? But I know that other people can't really hear you. This doesn't. So I'm just going to have to be okay with the fact you guys got to watch me do this shit. I don't, because in editing, I got to go catch it all. I like smoothness. How about now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Now you're better. You're just going to have to you're not going to be able to see me.
No, I can see you on the computer.
Okay, so I want to start these groups. One of the things is we're actually going to have a class. It's a Bobble wand class. Oh, and it's funny. I was using all my Bobble wands in the other room. And that's where I left them. And I have 2 more, but do you think I'm going to be able to get to them? Spirit's hilarious. So, setting up these moments, Amy, she said, yes, I can help you. So she had to be a surrogate. Now, this means that she didn't have any training about the Bobble wand, but she knows about the Bobble wand. I've sent her information to some degree, but we've never had a communication. And then all I did was line up, and then I told her how to line up so that she was in the same bandwidth so that the energy just flows through her. So she's a channel. So she's a conduit. And then, you know, the person, I tried to do my best to tell them what's going on. They said, okay, sure. And then they had the session. I'm at a distance, sending energy, feeling it changes. And I'm trusting because now I am trusting a bells and whistles, which is a tool. And this is one that's just the older designs. Now, pendulums or Bobble wands have been around a long time. This one's unique because I have tweaked them all. This one has a magnet in it so that it works with the meridians, the energies of the body. Some have a filter tip so that they infuse smell. And so what I took and I said, Amy, is just take the Bobble wands and do the healing. Now, this client was complaining that they felt like their chakras are closed. They felt like their senses were dull. What else was the complaint about? What was the sensations and symptoms, Amy?
Yeah, chakras were closed. There were vortexes.
Her eyes were having issues.
Yeah.
Her physical symptoms were, I don't feel like myself. My sensory system's off. I don't like this feeling. I feel awful. And it's like, okay, well, I could have just said, Amy sent her this link, this link, this link, this link. But something told me she was already working with their energies and we have to have come in with something else. And found out later, yeah, they were working on the chakras and somehow it tripped 2 of them to shut. So the Bobble wand is unique because the Bobble wand works in your energy fields, open and closes vortex. It cleans out and balances and distributes its energy. And so Amy did her thing, and then within 20 minutes later, the woman felt great. And you can have your standard pendulum, or you can have a very personalized pendulum. So Amy started off and she's like, and all of a sudden they would do little motions and the lady's going, yeah, what are you doing? And so then Amy went and found another pendulum or another Bobble one. And she did this, and then all of a sudden it deliberately just starts taking off. And then that client is like, oh my God. And they could completely feel all of the energy moving and shifting. And so she stayed with it and got it all done. And the lady felt better. Again, we're just all energy. So we're starting to have energy classes created. And Amy is going to be trained more in how to be a Bobble One facilitator. And to the point where she'll then learn how to hook into the energy herself and not have to have me, and she can just jump on that spiritual path and then do it. Now, the Bobble One does move by itself, just like a pendulum would. You can intentionally make the pendulums move, deliberately take them, and you get to feel it. Now, when you're on the other end, you're like, it's just aimed at me. I don't feel nothing. Be open to the fact that it is. Like Kevin. So all I did was zero in on his name, and what's happening is that the Bobble One is responding to his aura. Now, what's it doing? It's looking for something in particular. It's looking for energies that are off balance. And my body, of course, is doing this. And Kevin says, ever since I had about my the viral meningitis, I have definitely felt physically subpar. To boot, I feel hypersensitive to people. Oh my gosh, yeah. Places and things. It's pretty bonkers. Yes, Kevin, I can understand that. So, now we're going down by Kevin's feet. And wow. Now, see, I do feedback. And there's a lot you can do with these, which I'm not going to share here, but I'm going to look at. Oh, here we go. Now, as I ask Spirit, we're just going to jump in. When I look at Kevin immediately, the Bobble Wand, again, you're developing your intuition. If you interact with that energy, it'll speak, just like I do any readings. Your spirit is not in your body, Kevin. But as I look at the bottom of your feet, it is the K27s that are not wanting to connect to Mother Earth. And because there's a resonating broadcast that you basically stepped on, and it was about somebody disapproving of you. So look back before you got that, and were you disapproved of? So work with me, Kevin, just for a little bit here. Were you disapproved of, Kevin? Because, if we go around, we're going, well, isn't that a normal? No, in that moment, just prior, I think there was somebody that he was looking for approval for without knowing it. And it's one of those things where you're expecting to be accepted and loved, and all of a sudden, that person, it makes you feel rejected, and you don't even realize it's happening. This is the quiet stuff that people don't realize. So as I'm looking at Kevin, there was a lot of contempt in that area of energy and a disapproval. And your body was like, I can't do this anymore. That I really feel like your spirit has jumped. It's still connected. What that means is it just is living in another body at this point. It's like it's just emanating more energy somewhere else instead of connecting and creating more light into your body. The spirit creates light to come through your cells. There's a lot of indifference energy from who? That was found in this resonating broadcast. And that is so important. Perhaps work, he says. People don't realize emotions play a big part. thoughts play a big part. We're getting very to the point where we don't really want to hang with sarcastic people, narcissistic people, sadistic and masochistic people anymore. We are also waking up. And those that are waking up are not meant to tolerate those behaviors anymore, which something's got to trip you, some type of bitch slap, something's got to trip you. And this is what you have to be aware of. So again, when I'm looking at Kevin, there were some action steps that you took. And within that action steps, there was a habit you done and you've done something towards yourself. Okay, so like I was saying in the beginning, this shit happens all the time. It's just amplified dramatically. I'm going to give you an example from the past. I just got to tap into it to get fresh. Fresh experience usually means it happens immediately, but let me just tap into it. So in my relationships in the past, I'd be doing my thing, being happy, and they're judging me. They turn with their eyes, and they look, and they go, what are you doing? It's not what they want you to do, but what are you doing? They say they're curious. But the energy that comes out of them is that, what are you doing giving attention to them? I need attention. But they won't say it out of their mouth. And I'll look, and there'll be this 2-year-old. Or there'll be this 4-year-old. And it's like, and you're like, how can you, and you, if you ever had kids, you know that when they start ready to throw a tantrum, what are you supposed to do about it? But anyway, you can't reason with it because it's not the same mind, because they may be an adult, but their program goes back to when they're younger. And so then if they're used to manipulating, one of my family members used to manipulate the situation so bad. And so it was like they became the squeakiest wheel possible so that all the attention was on them and it was sucked from the rest of us. If you were to, if they felt insecure or they felt like they were sad, or if they felt any negative feeling, they would display it and then try to get you to calm them down, but yet turn around and blame you because you started it. You're like, just because I'm doing this doesn't mean I don't love you. And just because I'm doing, well, I want to be paid attention to. They won't say that. Well, I feel lonely. You're off doing this. You give everybody else attention. Why aren't you giving me any? And I'm thinking, but we just had attention. And it's not, but in what I found out as a young mother, the moment that child sees that your eyes are not on them, it freaks them out. And if that really freaks them out, creating anxiety in them, then they're going to have problems with relationship because they don't have the coping tool, or they're going to try to control and manipulate because they have the ability to look at the particular thing they want, and they will continuously run that cycle until you give in. Now, if you don't have the strength or the stability to fight off these children, then you will turn around and be in a situation where it looks like your child's running you over, but you've run to the end of your rope. You don't know how to change this. And a lot of it has to do with the fact is that you've already lost your energy when you were little. So I don't care how strong of an adult you are, or how angry you get, or how you demand, if you've already lost all that energy when you're young, then you're not going to have the energy to take care of that day, but your cells are going to emanate that energy so that child will behave that way. It's this really interesting vicious cycle that's happening endlessly. I'm not sure what's happening to Amy, but it's apparently not her day, as she said. But it's important to understand you have to look at life. Usually when you have a crisis in your body, it's something that had prior. Now, I know the big shift that occurred on my vacation And that meant I had to deal with people that were negative thinking. And I had to deal with people that were stressful and that were living at a certain age, and they are going to demand something. And this energy trips off in me, and this is where the constitution, not that constitution, but the body's constitution in traditional Chinese medicine points out that your body can get too damp or it can get too dry. And my body went into diarrhea. My body went into this high humidity inside my body. My body said these are the sensory behavior to this emotional reaction. And I was trying to figure out how to calm my body down. How can I calm my body down? So I had to learn new points that, I had to learn new points that cause my body's energy system to get realigned and balanced. Now, because it's tripping all the time, the problem is I got to constantly keep on top of it. So that tells me there's a specific program. What I found out when I have arrested development, I found part of me was like, I have to respond to these people in a certain way, but I don't have the ability to, I don't have that ability to do this. I really don't. See, we're just going to have one trouble. It's all about staying connected, not staying connected. These are all signs. You can read the universe. And when you do a live meditation to read the universe, you will notice that these are all signs. Amy's supposed to be this part of me, like the right hand part of me that's supposed to help take care of things so that none of this happens. And it's not able to work. And she's stressing out beyond belief, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay, now and this is going to be another thing. She's trying to please me, trying not to disrupt me, but at the same time, she's stressing out. And here's another kicker. We don't know what the other person's going through. I know that she has cut down on her medication. And of course, if she does not have the tools in the first place, so she didn't have to get on medication, now she's going to have to learn tools. So the universe is only responding to her cell's eminent energy. It's like pulling in. So what is her cell trying to do? Her cells are trying to say, oh my God, I'm helpless. I can't do this. I feel deficient. Oh my God, they exerted their power. Now, see, there's a part of me that I was having too much energy coming in and my sensory system was going to get overloaded. And if any of you know what that feels like, it can lead to anxiety. It can lead to that you're going to bark back. It can lead that you're going to feel like you're insane. I had somebody yelling and screaming at me in one of my old relationships to the point I could feel their energy is just, I want to kill you. And then I turned around and I had hit myself in the head and I'm like, what am I doing? And I kept looking at how much they hate and the venom they had spewed out to me. And I was physically reacting that to myself, but my physical body started to really take a dive. And then all of a sudden, I started having a gallbladder attack. I kept picking up their resentment, how much they hated me. And I'm thinking, why in the hell are we in this relationship if you hate me so much? And it's not that they hated me. Their programs hated me. Their little self hated me. They kept reenacting when they were little. And their filters, because in their heart they loved me, but yet they couldn't get past that thinking, that behavior, that automatic response. So Amy is going through a lot of hell right now, and she's trying so hard to be in sync with me, and the universe, it looks like it's conspiring against her. It's not. The universe is only answering to her cells. Her inner world creates her outer world, and her inner world is saying, and then we've seen it, our inner world, so let's look. Before we knew any of this, what was her cells doing? Okay. So she's doing what she's normally doing to connect, to get this going. Did you make sure the spinach was out of your teeth? Did you turn on the computer? And I was having a bad day and I didn't want her to feel it, but we were magnetically, meant to come together. So in her, what was she doing prior to that? Because of the medication, as hours before that, her triple warmer went off. Now your triple warmer will be that meridian that goes into high army alert. And it will take energy from everything but your heart. But it'll cause you to feel like you're having panic attacks. It'll do all stress. Inside of our brain and even inside of our skin and every part of us is called this axis of up here is a pituitary, hypothalamus, pineal stress axis. But they've actually found that it's not just in the brain. They can pick it up on the cells. So your cells will blush or it'll have goosebumps or other stuff will occur. Inside of our organs, this is where the constitution of a TCM, the traditional Chinese medicine, and that's how you get too much damp or too much heat or too much dryness. And your physical body goes nuts. Now, when it begins to do that, this is where you get symptoms. And for her, right now, before now, so her body was already going into, so she had to have a medication to take care of that issue. And let's see, are you okay, honey? If we don't want to talk just yet, don't worry. She already knew that she wanted to talk about this, but a part of me knew that I needed to talk about what's going on in my world. So for you guys, so let's just send some love to Amy right now. That's a good word, Kevin. Consumed. It's consumed. I mean, and she's trying everything she can, and she's falling apart. For me, I just feel like everything's coming at me, and I don't know how to handle it. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm looking at all this, and so Amy has to, so she goes to the doctor. She goes, I'm tired of all these medicines, because she has one medicine, and then that body creates her body's going, oh, what are we doing? It's going to help, but it's going to make everything worse. Okay, take another medicine on top of that. Just all of these things are happening. And so, what are we going to do? Now, I would tell her, she's trying everything she can to balance herself. Okay. And she's doing Wayne Cook. She's using her Bobble on. She's like, nothing's helping. When you get in so high beta, Amy, I'm just going to tell you that you hold R2D, hon. And I want you to think about how you distrust or how the body's distrusting at this point. We're going to help her. I mean, I'm not going to have you guys see what distraught she's going through, but she, tears, not able to talk, stressed. When she gets back together, she will. So, right now we're just going to give her that time to heal. And this is what, like when you come to the class, and it's going to be so much a month, and we're going to do it, I think, twice, 2 times a month. And it's this type of a healing. So let's say Kevin comes to class and he's down at the bottom. I'll say, Kevin, let's see what your energies are today. Okay, you're frozen. Let's do this. And so I give him a set of information. And then I'll go through everybody and I'll say, okay, everybody then will probably hold a certain point and we'll talk about a particular emotion. Because spirit starts usually to gather people that have the same similar stories to some degree. And we can start to do what we need to do. Okay. So right now, I just felt my energy shift, which means her body just says, wait, what? So who was she being? She was being her 2-year-old self. Okay. And it was a habit that it's about overtime hopelessness. No matter what I do, it's not going to work. And it's just overtime. And that you've seen that in the beginning of the show. And so we say thank you to Amy Soul for being that demonstration. And it was the beginning of the show. It just kept doing this. Now, I had to regroup myself in order, because I'm on display. I need to take care of that particular issue, which is fine. Okay. So what do we do from here? See, now, Amy, everybody's here. We've all been there. It's okay, Amy. So you're getting a lot of love, and that's good. So we do have to, I mean, the iPad, see, the universe created it this way. I started the iPad so that the phone could be open so I could have a different format today. I wanted somebody to call in so we can do a live healing so y'all could see it. We're doing a live healing and it just happened to be Amy. Love you, Amy. Now you're geez, that spirit is amazing. Just kind of volunteered you anyway, didn't it? Okay, so the iPad decided, oh, you're not going to have enough battery juice. The iPad decided last week that it didn't really want to work. Still trying to get it to function. I'm still attempting to think that that's the route I'm supposed to take. And then there was all that problem. And Kevin says, for sure, Amy, I was at yesterday. So he knows the boat you're in. So then I put her on the so-called cell phone. Well, now I don't know what's going on in Amy's end. I just know that I keep hearing noises which trigger me because I need a quiet sound. I even shut my fan off and then I'll have to deal with the heat. But Amy, all of a sudden it's like, if it's not going to be my end, her phone's going to disconnect so I don't know. She'll tell us more in a minute, but she's not quite there. Right now, you're down to a 3 and you were a 10. You feel like you're incompatible. I want you to hold R2S and I want you to think of worry. Okay, Aim. Okay. So she's being an adult, but she's being her 2-year-old self. And those were trigger words back in the day. Well, what are you, a 2-year-old? I mean, they had it right, but they didn't have it right. The problem is that there's no shaming or blaming. It's about growth. And we have got to get to that stage where we can start to do this. Now, I started to heal something and I could feel that energy coming back. And when I did that, all of a sudden it took, I don't want to say, I don't like that word control, took control of the room. But what was happening slowed down and it stopped. And it's learning to hold those tools. And inside my cells were all those stages that needed to be healed. And I was like, whoa, because when I finally listened to myself saying, I'm emanating out this energy, and that person can't show up to you any other way than you let them, because your brain has no way of seeing, only the way that you've wired it. So as a child, I'm firing and wiring. Oh, mommy don't love me. People don't like me. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my sister's mean to me. Blah, blah, whatever. My brain, as I'm trying to cope, handle, and deal, is that you have 41 thoughts per minute. And if you have the thinking 41 thoughts per minute times 60 minutes because you're over there crying in the corner, you're developing a behavior. Now, you can have one hell of a long mood swing. You know what a mood swing is. You're like something happening. You're like, oh, my God, I put you in a mood. And then a few hours later, man, that you're still talking about it. It's because you don't know how to cope, handle, and deal with it, but your brain's trying. And then you go a little bit, a week later, oh my gosh, and you're still talking about it. Now you're not talking about it as much, but now it's put you in the mood. So now it becomes a behavior, and then eventually it becomes your temperament. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, she broods a lot. That's her temperament. That's who she is. She's angry all the time. Well, guess what? I have a resting bitch face because I'm tired of I understand my face aged because I was under stress. And the little parts of ourselves can develop and grow into something more. Aim, how you doing, hun?
Better.
Okay, so she's at a 2, and I'm putting everything on the scale from 0 to 10. 10 meaning I'm measuring it from the best way I can. I can't really go into detail, but I eventually will. Right now, her chakra of her 5th chakra is going off, and it's like, I want to be able to choose to speak, but I can't. So that's okay. We're not going to put her on the spot. But her 3rd chakra is that I don't feel proud of this moment. And that means she needs to heal her pride because she doesn't need to feel bad about it. And I want you to put your finger on that little indent on your chin and then hold your forehead. And you're going to feel, in this case, you feel awkward. I mean, because this is where you're vulnerable. Now, I want to teach you how to heal all your shit and develop your ability to, your inner child can grow up to be an adult. And I want you to be able to become educated to the point where you take the mystery and the woo-woo out of the foo-foo and blah, blah, blah. We're going to help in that situation where your body and your mind and your spirit are all connecting, because your body and your mind is one and the same. You're looking at my subconscious mind. You're looking at all my programs. The age of my face, you can say, you can see there was stress. Didn't know how to handle it. My body is like going, what the hell? And because if I'm being thrown in the same arena every day, even though life's improved, my body is going to remember it because I fired and wired that situation so many times that it's going to be on my skin. And if I'm happy, then all of a sudden my body's consciousness says, well, that's not where we're programmed to be. Make her feel like that she wants to cry. And all of a sudden, I don't know, where are we going? Oh, God, I feel so sad. Now, this is where you want good mental and emotional health. And this is why I was going to set up that part of you. You guys can't afford it. I know this. Shit, I know it so well. So, but I have to still charge for this energy exchange. So I was going to have, and then I was thinking this group is also going to be a launch pad for other groups, other classes, and other things. So you're going to get more out of this one because, one, it's directed to healing your shit with me personally, but a very low, cheap rate. And it's funny because people will go and they'll spend $15 on a pair of earrings and not think twice about it, but they can't spend $15 on their mental and emotional health or their physical well-being. And we have to change that because you are important. You're worth investing. And I invest myself every day. I do my best to grow so that I can turn around and say to you, this works. And the pendulum. Now, Amy did it on her cat. Now, Lily's, I can't remember, 14 or 15 years old, and she's 15. 15. And Amy, she doesn't play, does she?
No, not usually.
And what happened, Amy? You use the pendulum on her, or the
She
Bobble
started
one.
playing. Oh my God. It was nuts.
And then she sent me a video of how she was smacking her beads around and things like that she had on her thing. And she's like, look at this. So, and then Amy goes, something's going on with me. And I says, well, use the Bobble wand. So she takes and she aimed it at her second chakra. And she says, 20 minutes later, no, she was stone cold, weren't you? Stone cold?
Oh, I was freezing. I even turned the furnace up. Because I usually leave my house at like 68, and I turned it up to like 72, and I was still freezing with a sweater and covered up with a blanket, and yeah, I was freezing.
Okay, now the triple warmer is the triple warmers. You have one in your belly button, one behind your chest, and you have the other one here. And they control about the temperatures, so does your liver. It helps with the temperatures. And I said to her, I says, I feel like your second chakra is so completely off that I feel like your triple warmers are off. So she's taking and she's poking it at her belly button and she's like, ooh, and then she writes back 20 minutes later, this thing was going and it finally calmed down. And she says, but I warmed up. Is that true?
Yep, I did.
She warmed up. And I don't know, and I said that might have helped your triple warmer, but at this point, yes, it works on chakras, works on vortexes, but it works on organs. It works on, it's with that intention, and you can really move. Now, Kevin is cheering you on. Everybody in the room, we're all for people to be happy and healthy, and we're all for doing this. See, and when you're a child, and like Kevin says, I felt alone and confused by my parents' behavior towards me. And people are doing the best they can. Now, if I look at Kevin, if we look at you and you said that, okay, you're confused by your parents' behavior, I'm going to pick a time. And they said that sometimes your mother would show up about 3 and your father would show up at 2. But how they learn to cope, handle, and deal, or how to raise a child, that can be very confusing towards you because, one, they're trying to raise you at that age. But if whatever shit they haven't been able to resolve, it'll be in their sperm and then their the egg, and then boom, you're created, and then now you have what's called epigenetic. Their freaking emotional shit that they can't resolve is now in you. So it gets to be all of these confusing things. But if we break it down, listen to what the soul says it wants to work on and develop, you will. And it's a lot of times it's trying to get over being 3 and 4 years old, and you gotta it's learning that next level of how to respond and to react, and to receive. I was trying to receive, and I realized I was carrying, again, a towards and a wave type things. I'm too grateful. I was spared in some lifetime. I was spared, and I could actually feel, and I've seen it in my life where I've been too grateful to the point where people have said that, well, you're just so too grateful. You seem desperate. And I'm like, what? I mean, it was just an emotion that had flown through me. And I was just so grateful I was willing to pay the price. But that can be too far. And I was like, oh my God, you mean you got to heal some of the goodness? And in order to be in this, you're activating your heart, you need to be grateful, which is to receive. But if you are in this state of gratitude and you go too far, you can do self-abasement. You I'm going to say it wrong. Yeah, abasement. Anyways, you can do denigrating, you can be, because you didn't do it right. And so you got to correct yourself. You can feel like you owe them, or you feel like you have to give back all the time and can't receive. It's like your debt's never paid. So, and this is the thing that's happening now. Like I said, one of the classes that's going to be spurred off is the Bobble one class. Now, there is a lot of things you can do with it, and there's simple ways of using it. Some people just pick it up and say they're working with it. But if you don't understand how to connect, and you don't understand how to troubleshoot, get your emotion shit out of the way, get your ego out of the way, you don't know how to do all that. You can't really F it up, but you aren't going to get the results that you're seeking. I've seen people use it, and it just created a vortex, closed it, but it didn't affect the area. It didn't affect the person. And you got to learn how to connect. You got to learn how to do all these things. So Amy is taking people, so if you want a Bobble wand, she hasn't talked about the price or anything yet, so we'll get there. But if you want to experience it, now she makes them. There is a general one, and then there are very specific ones, and then there are very personal ones. Now the personal ones there are going to cost a little bit more because they got to be specifically designed for your frequency. Now she can pre-make them ahead of time, and sometimes she has to just connect with you and make it, and then So if you are interested in any of that, then I would highly suggest that you email, because the computer started over on me, Medicine Woman Solution, MWS, for you, right?
Yep.
MWS, the number 4, the letter U, @dr.com. If you're curious, or if you want to know, have an experience, have a session with her, or if you want to buy a Bobble one or any of this other stuff, then you just go ahead and you contact her. Now, we're kind of behind on everything today because this was so important to talk about. I'm going to just double check because there is paid readings, but I haven't talked about that. Now, I was also going to do readings, personal readings, but at a very cheap price, but that way you can experience it cheaper yet. So I was going to set that up. If you do want a reading today, then it's $9 for 6 minutes. And if you want a free reading, then you email MWS number 4, the letter U at dr.com. Now, if I talk to you, don't send whatever. The point is let's see what we have here. Kelly says, parents' behavior was, yes, mine were extremely bad, but I have never done these things to my kids. And that's what we usually do, is that we will always try to have a better environment for than we had. Now, as you're a parent and you're doing the best you can, you don't really want to hear your kids say to you, you did a really shitty job. But it's inevitable to some degree, because the soul has to grow, and the soul chose you to grow from. We have to learn our behaviors and change them and to grow them, to, grow up, change the way we are. So Jennifer says, I've been really looking at the way I was shown love from childhood through a 20-year-old relationship. Yes, with being single and singing the reason why dating hasn't worked there so much to work on, but in a situation and checking myself for things that sabotage myself. See, and that's it. See, she's getting it. She's beginning to notice the dynamics of how all of these happen. When you have shit to work on, you will always emanate the energy to attract those type of people that you're supposed to love, or the people that are supposed to be your enemy, or people you're supposed to work with. But I had said to Spirit a long time ago, I love my children, but I am not going to learn some of my lessons through them. You were going to find a different avenue. And Spirit said, okay, through your husband. I'm like, oh, can't we? Well, I didn't have friends, so I couldn't do that. I wasn't in public, so I couldn't do that. So I had an animal that would turn around and shit on the carpet, and like, what are you doing? Somebody has to show up to you as the thing that you are attached to, the thing that you react as, the thing that you rejected. Now, those are 3 things right there that need to be addressed and healed and grow. There are things that you're trapped, emotions that are trapped, a specific response, symptoms that you created out of the moment. There are all these different little things that happen inside of us that need to be addressed. Okay. Yeah, the PayPal down below. It's the PayPal. Oh, yeah, it is there. Good job, Aim. So before we begin, Aim, talk to me, sweetheart. What was happening on your end?
At first, I couldn't hear you. The iPad was going in and out, or was I on the phone? I don't know. I could catch every other word. And then my phone dropped the call, and then when you called back, I couldn't hear. And
it got frustrating.
Yeah, it got really frustrating.
Now I'm just going to say, notice this. Okay, just notice this. If you have a built-in response because you've mirror consciented it, meaning you saw other people do this, or that's the paradigm, that's how you're supposed to act. So in a situation before, it would be, I would lose it. I would just say shit, and I would be mean and blah, 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 blah. And that's how you cope, handle, and deal with it. But I've come so far that I don't do that. But yet the people around me that do it, and I freak out. Like, oh, geez. And so I had to heal this. Now, I watch how people automatically just go right into the negative in order to cope, handle, and deal with a frustrating situation. But when I've learned to surrender into what is trying to get my attention. Now, in emergency situations, sometimes you can't. You have to be terse and you have to go in different things. But then there are different situations where you have to go into and you're like, oh, but I don't really need to respond that way today. So if you stop and take that extra step, you stop and surrender into reading it. Like for me, eventually, you've seen I was trying to do. Finally, I said, okay, let's surrender into it. It's not going to hurt. Everything's going to be fine. What is it trying to say? And she needed a healing. I needed a healing. We ended up doing an energy. For me, I did energy, and I recorrected to something inside, things that you couldn't see I was doing. Amy, we kind of displayed it a little bit so you could see that, hope therapy was a way to help. But it's in how you respond to life. It's in how you stored life. It's all these moments. I want people to wake up and stop looking at life and saying, oh God, they were a dick today, or she was a bitch today. It's not about that. It's about the programs running. I can't express that enough. And I can help you understand how those programs function and how those work. Now, Kevin, you're first, dear. He has paid for a reading, and I'm getting my timer out right now. Now, normally, I would like to call, but since I can't, I don't have a device that you can use, because that's used, and that's broke. And I'm like, seriously. But that's okay. We're going to get there. So Kevin's first, and after Kevin is Kelly. And Kevin, now, this is why I like that we're going to set up these group things so that they can be a response immediately, and you can get faster at healing and balancing. So Kevin, we're going to do our best to communicate. Now, what would you like to talk about? And because there's a delay, it makes it very hard to sometimes see it. Now, I don't want to just give Kevin information. I want Kevin to heal, but that's his choice. Wow, Kelly. Yes, we will get there. Kelly says, I woke up every day, and that's enough for me. What else happens during my day is a bonus. I was Fran, Nanny, and she was reading the horoscope to her older mother or grandma. And she goes, read me my horoscope. Okay. She goes, you're going to wake up today. She goes, hallelujah. She says, that's a great sign. She goes, I didn't even read your horoscope. She says, I woke up. I said, well, what more can I ask for? So that's a good thing. Okay. The spirit essence. Oh, very much. Yes. Okay. Kevin. So what you can do is you can use your hand, or you can get a refrigerator magnet. But we're going to do a couple things. Now, I had a lady call me today, and she says, I need some answers. So I gave her a couple answers, and she says, and that was free. And then she's like, well, I need some more answers. And I said, okay. And I said, wait, now why don't you just set up a session? And I even gave her a cheap ass price to do it. Oh, no, she just wanted it free. So, Kevin, let's see, where are we at? Is that what he's tending to first? Yeah, we're going to get there. Yep. So what we're going to do is that his spirit is displaced. Now, can it come back in the body? Not completely yet. Why? And that is where we're going to say the resonating energy that you stepped on. As I look at this resonating energy, it was the word blame. Did somebody try to blame you? Okay. And I just keep seeing you walking around, and what trips off is your 3-year-old self. Now, when you were growing up, did you feel like they blamed you for their hellish days? Like, oh, it's because of you I can't go to work. It's because of you I got to do this. It's because of you. It's the blame. Do you understand? It's very strong, but it's the resonating energy. And that energy, like when I'm yelling or pushing the energy out there, there's a difference between my calm and so it becomes the frequency of how it echoes out. You are attracting people in that, it's about habit. Now, I'm just going to stop the timer real quick because you said you had viral meningitis. Is that correct, Kevin? Because I'm hoping I don't lose anybody. Good God, I hope I don't lose anybody. And what I want to do is look something up because there is messages from the body. What is the body saying? in this case, this is where I wish it could be faster, but I'll be patient. Yes, he says. So one, none, or all can apply. What we're looking at is the emotions, the verbiage, the different things of the story. We need to say, well, let's talk about viral meningitis. I see viral.
In October.
Okay, so I'm going to have to look at this in another direction. Just give me a second. There's some really good books out there. Not everybody wants to give away their secrets. I get it. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. Maybe it'll just be meningitis. No, I was here. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, stars. Now, see, normally I would find it immediately. That's okay. We're going to look under the word, like I said, viral. Go from there. It's got to be located someplace else. If we're just going to look at the word viral, resentment, resentfulness, resignation. They are having the experience that life is being quite difficult, and they're feeling very little, if any, positive in their life. To them, it feels like everything is one long series of responsibilities, traumas, or drudgeries of late. So it can be the result of a grimly getting through the night, and can be with a dysfunctional family. Or, well, what do you expect? They are bitterly of the opinion of, there is no joy in Bloodville. They are, in effect, utterly unable to experience the beauty, good, and joy of the universe. They are quite resistive to and resentful of the process of dealing with life. They have the feeling that they're get every disease that comes down the pike. What I just read, Kevin, give me any insight. Does it sound like you? Does anything sound familiar? Does any of that happen? Okay. Now, my ability to think my thoughts, Brenda's thoughts versus Spirit's thoughts, I don't mean to sound stupid, but when you say viral meningitis, is that a spinal meningitis? Because the word spinal just popped in my head. And if that's the case, then I can probably see if I can find it down. Okay. Spinal cord issues, meningital subluxation. No, okay. Meningitis, inflammation of the lining of the brain and the spinal cord. A pariah outcome complex. Amy, look at pariah and then tell me what it means. They are convinced that they are unacceptable to human society and that other people are incensed that they are here. They feel attacked for their being, their personality. They're enraged at life and inflamed in their thinking, and they're full of blame and frustrated fury. Now, what's funny is because I picked up that you stepped on that people were blaming and you took the blame. This says that you were blaming others. And in the perspective of life, it can be anything. They are regarded and treated as a hunchback of Notre Dame by their family, who, however, at the same time, systematically train them to be a scapegoat. Again, Kevin, look that through. Amy, what is a pariah? P-A-R-I-A-H, pariah.
Let's see.
We're going to make sure she gets in sync. She can do it. We're rooting for you.
Okay. That's not right.
That's okay. So Kevin says, yes, in October. Oh, yes, October. Okay. Tired and need. Wrong person. Due to a crazy herpes 2 outbreak. Yes, my mother. And yes, it is a fear of mine as well. Oh, yes. On the way into my. Oh, my God. That's just scary to know that it. But when you think of it, do you feel like you want to blame? Does that make sense? Just look at Kevin. Do you feel like you want to blame? Because I feel like somebody blamed you when you were growing up and you were that scapegoat. And understand if any of that happens to be, what do you want to call it? If that happens to be true, then those are the emotions. Your energy of your cells are pushing that out there saying, I got to have this to happen. And then you have to take those emotions and come into play, and they lock in like a key. A pariah is they are treated as a social pariah, a member of the indigenous people. Oh, really? This is how they say a pariah? A member of the low castle of the southern India. Really? What is this? Oh, one that is despised or rejected. Okay, that's what I thought. Like, why are they giving me all these other things? So it's about being despised or rejected. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was always blamed. Kevin, that's what we want to take out. Understand, if we do not take that out, the key out of that socket, your body is not going to let go of what it knows. Okay? And before we can put your spirit back in, now I'm going to turn the time back on. So we're going to have to understand, I'm asking spirit, if we say we're going to take out this blame and all this, can we put the spirit back in? Can I put the spirit back in now and then take out the blame? Yes. But if he doesn't do it, then the spirit will come back out. So there's an agreement. So anything you want else taken out, look at, no. I want you to take your hand or a refrigerator magnet, whatever you have, and you say, I put my spirit into my body 100% where it belongs. I put my spirit into my body 100% where it belongs. And you do this, and if you pay attention, you can start to feel it. I put my spirit back into my body 100% where it belongs. And do this at least 5 or 6 times. I'm putting my spirit, here it is. It's starting to go in. So your spirit is in your body 100%. Is your body communicating with your spirit 100%? No, it's not. So this is where you got to put the spirit or the body into the spirit. So you're going to take your hand and you're going to start from here and go up. So you're going to put the spirit into the body, or the body into the spirit 100% where it belongs. I'm putting the body into the spirit 100% where it belongs. And you do it that way. Put the body into the spirit 100% where it belongs. Because you want them to begin to communicate and create a harmony so they can communicate. Okay, that one's a little tough. Is there something in particular that the body doesn't want to connect to the spirit with? It's that resonating energy. Okay, so one, we need to remove the blame. Okay, however you're feeling it. But then the stages of that blame is that how you, soon as somebody's casting blame, let's say you don't even know the person's doing it, your body starts vibrating and resonating. Not that resonates as your truth, but your body says, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be. And then your body starts showing symptoms. And then if you pay attention, you'll turn around and somebody's blaming somebody. Maybe a mom's yelling at the kid, or 2 kids, or it's just a TV set and you're watching a TV show. Or the incident of you being blamed was always in the kitchen. So you have to go out and get food. Let's say you're hungry. Kevin's hungry, and Kevin needs to go out and make something. But yet all of a sudden his body is like going, oh, and then all of a sudden it feels like he's not agreeing with his food. A lot of this begins to happen. So we have to look at it. This is where I would say hope therapy. In the groups that we would have a month, that's where I'd say. Now for you, it's the second chakra. It's about that communication process between you and another soul. It's between you and how are you being, not just in the tribe, but how is it that one-on-one instead of the whole? And then we have to remove that. He says, I became resentful of my boss and patient. Very good. So now he has to remove that. Now, when I look at the idea that you're being blamed, then we have to look at the spleen. When you stepped on that blame, that resonating, it is gallbladder. And there's an unfairness. Oh, and it's what's that? Monotonous, that word, monotonous. So you are so used to it. And they said that what came up was that your 2-year-old self just had it. Has just had it. And your meridians that are locked into that 2-year-old self age with the blame and the resentment and stuff like this, vibrated to the point where it's like it's wore out. When you put your foot on the brake and the gas at the same time, you're eventually going to break out and ruin those gears. And that's what's happening is those certain parts you stayed in stress. And now you're like, nope, can't do it anymore. So yeah, because you know that the moment that, you'd be like, hey, Kevin's in the room, Kevin's talking, Kevin's happy, and all of a sudden this vibration over here, somebody's in their freaking ass space. All of a sudden his vibration, and he's like, there goes my freaking happy. I know that shit's happening. Where is it happening? And you become more aware. But if you weren't, you just all of a sudden, you don't even realize. But you're beginning to become aware. So life's unfair. You're looking out here blaming. But we have to actually get you to remove those triggers out of you and move you in the position where you are your authentic self and you're not just the program. Those programs are just freaking kicking you all over the place. And we got to get you to come back to that. So now the point is to get you to do hope therapy. Amy will send you a link of hope therapy. And you're going to learn how to do this on your own unless you create a spot with me to work with. And that is you're going to hold R2D and L2S. And R2D, you know that your happy's leaving and you're just done with this shit because you can feel that hatred building up. You can feel attack being happening to you. You can feel a panic coming on. And the gallbladder is that you turn into bitterness and resentment. And you just starting to realize that, oh, wow, Kevin, I just saw it. Not only is this your own shit, but now you're mirrored that this is how your family responded. And so now this happens to be a reaction or response that you had. So you're looking at the kaleidoscope of life, and these are the pieces of the pie of the kaleidoscope that's coming out at this time, asking to be addressed. Put them on the scale from 0 to 10. And then hold those points. Amy will send the link. You watch the video, look at the chart, and you get that down. Get to know it, get rid of it, okay? You're going to stay constantly in your negative thinking, and your body, don't think happy thoughts. Don't try to overcome it because it's not going to work. You have to stay in that hell, and then it'll go break it down, and then eventually your thoughts will change, your emotions will change, and you want it down to 0. And some people can only get it down to 3. But what happens if you don't get it down to 0, it builds back up. Now, after you get down to 0, it'll show up differently because now you're talking layers, but you'll begin to notice it differently because your thoughts in your head will begin to actually change. 1 or 2 words will change in the sentence. Good luck, Kevin. And there's nothing wrong with looking at the emotions. He's brave enough to say, this is the shit I see. I need help. So we're going to take it one step at a time, and we're going to get everybody to where you can become happier and healthier, people. The next person, I believe, is Kelly. And Kelly, my dear, what is it that you wanted me to address? So, oops, there we go. Okay. All right. So, and the thing is, even if Kevin needs magnesium, you got to understand if his body cells from his spirit or his body to his spirit are not holding that light, his body can absorb certain nutrients that would be so simple before is now the DNA has changed its pattern to fit the emotions. Okay. And so, in order to get his body to hit that innate healing to correct all that, so his body can absorb all this again, is that he has to go in to start to remove those nasty ass programs. Oh, Kelly, that's fine. We're going to ask Spirit. Now, this is Kelly says, well, I don't really know what we're supposed to look at. So I will look up from time to time. Okay, so Kevin has sent his email. Amy, you can look at that. Kelly, there seems to be the word disdained, that contempt, beneath. If I were to look at, it's an auto response from you to you. You actually can feel people when they have contempt and they're like, they have this attitude, oh, it's so beneath me. And we're looking at, stop. I'm not condemning Kelly or anything. Maybe that's contempt, but no, a magnesium. Yeah, no. I was just pointing out another factor. Yeah, he probably is low. We probably could look, but it's not. Don't worry about it. You're good. So when they say that because of this word disdain, you seem to, your energies of your body seem to be pulling in people that are self-centered, pride, egotistical, self-centered people. Is that true? Because she says empathy. Okay, so if that's the case, if you're just picking up people, okay, then there is the Celtic weave, the connecting heaven and earth, the hookup, and the Wayne Cook. But if your cells are saying that it saw this as a kid and that it's an unresolved issue, then it's going to say the inner world creates the outer world, and your inner world is going to have that cell to draw those in. Thoughts are electric and emotions are magnetic. And your body at this point is telling you, I have a trapped emotion. I have to track this. And it's just going to pull it in. Okay. Now, Kelly, pay attention. And no, we don't need jokes right now. So somebody on the other side goes, look at my, and I'm thinking, I don't know if she knows Kath and Kim, but that's hilarious. You have an energy habit that as part of that empath, there is this reduction of contracting yourself. Okay, so Kelly said, yep, but not anymore because I'm more aware to have positive in my life now. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that is the spirituality. This is what's happening. Yes, you can go on the track of having positive people and kicking out toxic people, but there's a problem. The root of your past is still present. I don't care how many times your brain overcomes, your subconscious mind is going to be set as a GPS, and it's going to, oh good, see Kath and Kim. So your body is going to attract it in. So I don't care how many times you try to overcome it, you're not taking care of the roots of it. This is why it's happening over and over. And it's so important that, yes, you'll have to weed. Like I said, you have to be okay with losing your family and friends when you get on the spiritual path. You're finally putting healthy boundaries up. You're like, oh, I know. But you also have to understand why they were there. They were an aspect of your soul that said, I have this issue. I've put some energy of my shit over there and says, I'm not going to be those type of assholes. But because you put your energy there, it's got to keep it alive, and it can be more tiring because it keeps it alive. If you are saying that I never do this anymore, understand, I don't care how much you try to overcome it, your organs are still going to say, hey, she's resisting. It's 2:00. She needs to become a bitch. Now she's like, no. Now your body is going to push it deeper into your body, and you can start developing symptoms where you don't want to, just to pay attention to that. Okay. All right. For if you want to know the reason, it's not, we always say it's about learning, but the thing is, it's about where did you place your energy? Okay. What arrested development do you need to take and learn that next part? What part do you need to unlearn because somebody taught you to be a bitch because a man was being mean to you? So you have to be a bitch to every man. What part do you have to let that go? You know, these are just examples. But the point is that you had that first experience with those emotions. You didn't know how to cope, handle, and deal and pacify. It got stored as a memory. Now, it's a difference between just having a memory and everything gets recorded. It was marked. A certain percentage of your energy was placed there. It's going to stay active to some degree, and you're going to have these aspects of the people that you love or don't love, whatever your family members are going to be. Let's say they're not in your space anymore. You're going to find it in your kids, your animals, your TV set, your work, your friends. And then you're like, oh, but I can't tolerate that. My dad used to do that. Or you may not even be aware that you did it. That's why from 0 to 7 is those fresh experiences. And from 7 to all the way up to, I think, maybe 14 or maybe a little younger, you don't really remember. Like my kids started to forget their grandparents and because they died so young. But you're meant to just be those particular issues until you resolve them, because your brain, for everybody, is always getting 4 billion bits of information, and you only hold 2 billion bits of information per second. So that means you have to delete, distort, and generalize the shit that's happening around, or you drive yourself crazy. The beginning of the show, I was bringing in more than 2,000 bits of information. You understand? And it was overwhelming me. So I had to look at inside of me. I balanced my energy with energy medicine, but I also looked at the emotion that was pulling it in, that somebody wanted my attention and I couldn't give it. And therefore I created myself to be out of sorts. So that's something inside of me I have to heal. Okay. Yes, they come to your reason. So like, for instance, see, I would love to take that deeper. This is where we would have the Empowerment Through Enlightenment class right there. Okay, so you may not be like that, but you may have had a program in the past. I'm just telling you to take care of the roots. Even if you're not like that, you still have somebody in front of you because you somehow know what I'm talking about. There is a familiarity somewhere that is a root. Okay, and you got to be able to make sure that the body is getting rid of it instead of just the mind. Because you can shut down, repress, oppress. You can do all these things within yourself, and the stuff will pop up later. I'm sorry I'm not communicating properly to you. What I say when I say negative things, it has nothing to do with causing you to have pain or suffering or any of this. These are just words that are active and they needed to be addressed. That's all that was. And once you begin to see how that it's in your space, you can get rid of it. And sometimes getting rid of it just by thinking positive, flipping the switch is not enough. You need to use all the tools in the toolbox to take it out by the roots. Because the chemical peptides that your body creates, okay? Candace Pert talks about energies in motion. And what happens is when those start to vibrate and you don't no longer hear them, it will happen. Okay, I'm sorry. It's this, sometimes you don't understand words, the lack of proper communication. That's what's happening. Okay, and since nobody else wants a paid, then we will look over to the 1 minute reads. And I have a few that I'm going to go through first, AIM, and then we'll get to yours, okay?
Okay.
Nicole S. I would love a spirit message. I'm longing to hear from my grandmother. Okay. Feeling isolated and alone right now. Don't know where I'm heading. Well, first of all, I would tell you to address those emotions, the chemical peptides, and calm them down so that you can actually hear. But if you're not into the healing tools, then sometimes we just need to listen. And we know that spirit. Now, your grandmother says that she's always with you. There was something that she always did, and she's trying to bring that into your thought. But since you're not hearing it in your thought, she's going to try to bring it into your reality. She says that like, for instance, let's say she left you a piece of candy, or there was something very familiar. Like my grandmother will make me smell yeast from baking bread. And there has been this, the direction that they want you to go is that you have to look at the healer within. And then with the healer within, and kind of what I've been talking about anyway, but it's addressing that part of you in a different fashion. Well, that's an interesting take on the cards. All right, what did you want, Grandma, since you've knocked them out of my hands? Did you want this deck? Did you want this deck? Okay. just so that you understand, Grandma says that notice those emotions, they're raw. Did you have a dog or an animal? Something, the word pixies popped up, and then something about sprinkles of sugar. I don't know. You know those pixie candies you break open and pour in your mouth? There's just all these pictures coming in, and she says, notice it's just an auto response, and you need to disrupt that pattern because it's just keeps coming back. Aggressive people scare the fuck out of you, and it's time to notice how you lose power and you lose energy when that occurs. Stargazer. I'd love to hear from my wee ma. Please, thank you. Light. And there's deep down, there was always being alone. And believe it or not, there is another side. It's not just, you just don't go fade to black and disappear. There's something about, like, we're talking about cookies. I'm not sure about the cookies. Different shaped cookies. It could have been a cookie cutter, but there's something to do with the cookie. You make them too dry. Maybe it's a sugar cookie or something. I don't know, but there's something about there's not enough of something in it. When I asked what else, they said that there's a feeling attacked. There's like this feeling that you have that's behind you. And they said that that was because you distrusted things that came out of nowhere. You do a lot of effort, but it's unreceived. A lot of people, you do go out of your way for certain people, and people they just don't see it. She said that you're also driven by a sense of awkwardness and obligation, and that needs to be changed too. Betty. Oh, wait, that's not the correct one. TP. Is there some points I can rub and use a magnet? My fibromyalgia is acting up for weeks. My legs are in such pain, radiating constantly miserably. Okay, so with towards TP. Is it something to do with source points? Okay, so you have a habit that's going on that it's a disapproval. And it's funny, it's because you'll look, and then without realizing it, your body goes, oh, they're going to disapprove. And your body keeps showing the reaction that it's disapproved. It's disapproved. And you have consciously don't feel it anymore. You're like learning to live happy, but your body is saying, we know what it means to feel like to be disapproved. And it's just gone into a certain environment. And I still feel like it has to be where you're at. And you had people that are in that space that disapproved of you in the past, and your body just keeps flaring up and keeps flaring up. I'd say take care of that. I asked, and it's like your body saying, it's not secure. I feel it's not secure. You need to take the emotion off it. I would tell you just start putting your hand on your forehead, and you have to do it more than one time, and sometimes you have to do it often. But again, you need to go deeper. You vibrate and resonate with these people so much, or this disapproval so much, because they still have a snare. It's like, So certain things will get to you. Is there a specific point that would help calm her down? I would say normally yes, but I'm looking at it this way, that your body is just hyper-vigilant of being that it has in fear, and it doesn't feel safe. Who is it you don't feel safe around the most? And when you do that, then you want to rub the spleen points, and that is here. Okay. You're going to rub these spleen points, and then you're going to go down to the side of your foot. Of course, I don't have my papers with me. Not just dandy. The side of your foot right here, right where the bump is, you're going to rub right in there. Okay. And the other one is up under here. Oh, yours is so hard, but you can't really rub your feet because of the fibromyalgia. But if you can take a light, or if you have an AccuPen or an electrical thing, or if you can just manipulate it somehow, okay, and you'll feel the bone, and underneath the bone will be this here. This is a scar, if somebody notices it. Yeah, I fell out of the car and slit my leg wide open. Okay, so then we're going to go to, whoops, the right page. Premier flooring. And what would you like to talk about? Premier flooring. I'm going to take Diana, and then you can tell me what it is you want to talk about, premier flooring. So Diana, Meg, I can never say your last name, dear. You've been repeating something again and again and again. And in this case, it's not a habit as much as it's a reaction habit. So there's something that your soul is saying, oh, you're reacting to. So just start becoming aware that I'm reacting to this. It could be a gesture. It could be a smell. And they said that it creates a compulsion that you're compulsed that you have to do this. And it has to do with pictures. I would do a sensory accessing. So if you see what it is that's going on, cover up your eye and go, oh yeah. And then of course, just start to stare at it and then, switch back and forth, snap it out. Amy, I don't know if you can see Diana there, but send her the sensory thing because you need to pull that out. Your body's doing an automatic defense and it's doing this over and over repetitively, and we need to get that stopped. Now I'm going to look back at TP. Do you have no, your body is just this, I'm disapproved of. Okay, so we want to disengage that. That's for sure. You need to message her on her site to get it. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. Where's Premier Flooring? You know what? My brain is like, I forgot who Premier Flooring is. Isn't that doggone it? I get caught up in this. I'm sweating my buckets here. Somebody paid me. I thought that was Michelle. Anyway, while we're waiting for Premier Flooring, as we're waiting for Premier Flooring, because I don't know what she wanted to talk about. I don't see it. Oh, there she is. Let's do an energy check and messages. And I'm here. Okay. So an energy check and a message. Do you want her to do the message, the energy check? And we're going to do somehow combining. Okay. You have 13 people on the other side. One of them's coming through and saying that your vibration is inside. On the outside of you is low. Is it because of, no? Why? What are you referring to? And they said, well, it's about feeling that so you haven't addressed that compatibility issue with the relationship fully yet. You haven't created a closure. You haven't taken that shift. If that's the case, Melanie. And so they said that you're starting to fall into, it's the overtime hopelessness. And it feels like you have to wait before you can do something. That's what you would need to heal. If you feel like you have to wait, this is not divine timing. It's not divine alignment. It is, you need to heal that. I can't do anything because I have to wait, or I have, you know what I mean? You're just looking at that particular thing. Well, you want to heal that out. They also are saying that, what are you saying? Oh my God, and sorrow. You're saying two words? Are they felt at the same time? No, something's coming through. Have you had a bout of depression or anything? Because they're pointing to that part of the brain that creates depression, and they're saying that there's a hidden particular outcome that another person wants. Oh, no, that's like what I said in the beginning of the show. When a child sits there and has a particular outcome and tries to drive the relationship with the mothers, whatever, then they're going to act a certain way. Now, you're waiting on a new resident. And does that stop you from moving out? And they said, no, yes and no. That's meant to be there, but you have to pay attention to the reason that you're reacting. You're not just feeling low. You're meant to feel low because it's your interaction with the environment. And they said that this particular outcome that this other person has, you feel this obligation or something. Heal the obligation and feel how you know it's pulling you, because you don't need to let that control you. I would definitely, they said it's from a gender, same gender, opposite gender. Okay. The reason this is happening is because the meridians going through the chakras. So your third chakra of learning to have pride in yourself versus have to have pride in what everybody tells you to look at. Her matrix. So your matrix is changing. Your brain is following through, going, "Oh, this is new stuff," but the brain is like, "Okay, but the world still sucks." And this is a habit. So they're saying paying attention to this active memory that took place at 4 years old, that the structures and bones. Yeah. What happened? Somebody had an agenda and you got hurt. So did you break a bone or anything like this? Did you hurt yourself? Did you, you're talking physical attributes. Something physically happened to you. Okay, so I'm so empathetic, feels like I'm taking on many energies. Have you been doing the Wayne Cook? Have you been doing hook up or zip up, connecting heaven and earth and Celtic weave? You need to get those out. Trying to release energy coming through are rough. Oh, that particular, yeah. And you still, those are important to do too. So the messages are the messages coming from the, it's about a particular outcome. I keep going back to a particular person. Are you even aware of this particular person and how they want a particular outcome? Because there's something that it's like, what are you saying? Somebody's faking something. So when you say structure, did it happen to her physically? Or something's happening to her physically and it affects the structure of how she functions? Yes, that. All right, so just tell me, what is this person doing that causes her to... Oh, no, that's just not funny. Give me back my paper. Oh, they move things on you. Oh, so what are they doing? So there is definitely a particular outcome, and they are self-centered. They expand their energy, and of course, that's what you feel. And it feels like you have to live things their way, through their ways. Okay, so if I'm asking, how old is this person really? You're dealing with a 3-year-old that is locked into an older person's body. That's what I will say. Oh, well, you got it right. Says, yes, my husband, I'm sure. He's trying to make me stay. Yes. Okay, so you want to heal out. He's trying to make her stay, and you feel attacked. They said to heal that out, you have to heal your auto response that makes you stay. Literally, you can feel that auto response that makes you stay. Okay, and they're saying if you were to do R1S, and because the reason you're doing it is because you got karmic debt issues. And that karmic debt issues and then the emotions are going to try to confuse you to keep you to stay. So I would say you're going to have to heal some karmic debt from the past. I'm still figuring that out myself. It's hard for you to put up when he gets hysterical. I totally agree on that one too. But to heal out how to react, the only way that I could get away from mine was to heal out how I reacted. I began to have a twang when he would do certain things. I looked at how he would do it, and then I would sit there and feel how I reacted, and I had to heal those out. And as I began to heal those out, then all of a sudden one day he's trying to do his little thing, and I'm like, oh my God, when's he going to get done? It's been going on for 15 minutes now. I mean, you didn't depersonalize it. You learn to come in balance with your authentic self and not lose energy to that, which means you're not feeding it. Those roots are not there anymore to feed it. And your energy cells are not saying, I'm going to emanate this. This person shows up like a bad asshole. You can heal that out. Okay. So Amy, who is next on the list?
Ronnie Eldridge.
Ronnie, LaRhonda.
A message from Spirit, please. Thank you.
So stamp that one. I don't know if she's still here or not, but your heart is saying that I have to be this way towards myself, and I have to contract my energy, and because I feel bullied. Oops. Okay. This is an arrested development. This is something that you have to heal out of you to get to the next stage. Okay. LaRhonda, there's a part of you that says, this is such a strong one. This is the one I've had to deal with. And that is you're only responding to that situation as a 3-year-old, and whatever they're doing, they're being a 5-year-old. But the point is you guys are both in adult bodies. But as a child, you learn to contract your energies and to change the flow and to get things to go better so they'll calm down. This is what your body's reacting. And you as an adult have tried to overcome it. You've tried to do this. You've tried to fight back. But if you don't have the energy inside you, you can't ever do it. And no matter how much you try with just your brain, you're not going to be able to do it. So you have to heal how that little girl inside says that I have to contract my energy. And I have to do this for safety reasons. But you understand that's your identity. You don't realize it's your identity. So you're going to keep responding in that way. And when you can heal out that that's your identity, you're going to get stronger. Does that make sense? Who else?
Camille Stanton. Hi, I've watched your videos on Facebook a few times, and I find what you talk about is super interesting.
Wonderful.
I would like a 1-minute free read, so general.
Okay.
Thank you. Love and light.
So this person overwhelm energy is coming in, and they're overwhelming of rejection. You rejected me. So somebody accusing you of rejecting them. Hold on. What's their name again? Camille. Because the way the energy is coming is like coming over my head, but it's overwhelming and it's actually taxing your nerves. So you felt this a long time ago. About 3 years old, you felt rejected. But you felt how somebody rejects you, and they did it in such a unique, crappy way. That's the way you took it in as a 3-year-old. And now you have this underlying feeling that I feel like it's anxiety in the gut that has to do with I'm a bad person. And you may not even know it. You may not think it. You may not be any of it. But your feeling of what a bad person it's like when depression sets in, sometimes depression can feel like low self-esteem. And it's just a symptom of low self-esteem. You can feel low self-esteem. And you don't just experience it. It actually has a unique feeling. Well, it's the same thing with you right now. And that's what they're asking you to address, is to identify that feeling and then change that feeling out. You could use EFT. All right, who else?
Lisa Meyer, thank you so very much for all your teachings today. Also, your energy is healing. Salute.
Thank you. Okay, so here we go. Where? Taking what? Sometimes you don't feel like you're efficient enough, and you feel deficient in certain areas. And they said that somebody's trying to hand me a deck of cards. I don't know what that's about. Whether that you felt that way, whoever that was, it's on the certain situations or has passed over. But it's like you were forced that you had to become humble. And that forcing of having to become humble is that you have to heal that particular twang, that particular thing that happened, because you need now to heal that you have to always be humble, even though you may have learned that that's my lesson, I'm supposed to be humbled. But you also have to take and come out of this particular state, because they said that feeling literally creates low self-esteem. And you can feel that in order for me not to be this person, I have to trigger this low self-esteem. And that's not healthy inside the body, because the body needs nourishment from those particular positive words and phrases and feelings. Yes. Anything else?
Brittany Lynch, I am still healing from my mother. Any advice from Spirit about the letter I am writing to her for healing?
Okay, what about that question again? That letter? Any advice
from Spirit about the letter I am writing to her for healing?
Okay, so first of all, Brittany, I need to know, are you, with this letter that you're writing, are you blasting her? What are you doing? Because I need to know what you're doing. Like with my son, I did everything I could to be the best mom I could. But yet he's still breaking free from all of his issues that he had accumulated from everywhere, not just from me and his dad, but from everywhere. And one of the things that came out was 9/11 affected his sensory system. But of course, he doesn't want to heal in this manner. And so I wrote him an apology letter. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I just said, I know certain parts I played, and there are quite a few things I don't know played, but I still want to apologize for. And I've given him his distance and space to do whatever it is he needs to do to grow. Now, if your mother was a tyrant or a narcissist and you feel like you're going to need to talk, I'm going to say, don't even waste your breath. I know that sounds rude or sounds weird, but they're not going to hear you because they're a program. There will be a set of program that does not allow you to move forward. So no matter what you do is going to be just slapped and thrown in your face. Now you can write the letter and do it in spirit style and then burn it or bury it, however you feel. But creating closure to certain people is very important. Oh, I'm acknowledging everything good and bad between us, admitting I was too blunt. Very good and too harsh. Okay, I have learned how to heal and want to help her and have to try to be with in my life. Okay, that's good. Now, see, somebody else needed to hear it before I read that. Okay. It's good that there's a polygene. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. She's an alcoholic, maniac, depressive. Oh, made a lot of bad choices in life. Okay, so understand she has had, if somebody's an alcoholic, that they the problem is not the alcohol, it's the issue that drove her, that she couldn't resolve, that would drive a person to drink. And if that is tripping, you're not going to hear it. A manic depressive, they may not hear it. And if you hand it to them at the wrong time, then they're going to look through their filters and you're not going to understand their response. Now, if they are on this path with healing with you, then you can say, what is the problem besides, because alcohol is not the problem. What is the problem? What's the emotion, Mom? What's going on? What happened to you? Now, she may have told you 1,000 times. And let's say you know that. You say, here is some EFT. Let's try this. Now, most of them won't, because it became a safety blanket. Because to feel certain words or certain things are so hellish that they can't go there. So if you're writing, say, I love you and I'm here for you, and I was watching this movie the other day, but then again, that might piss her off. When people get caught up, they can't stop being a certain age over and over and over. And I don't care how nice you are, you're going to get burned. I keep getting burned. But at the same time, I have a rapport with certain people, and certain people and I will grow together. It may take them longer to get there, but it'll happen. She feels betrayed and alone and helpless. Okay. You maybe benefit from buying a Bobble one from Amy. Now, just listen to why. Maybe she'll let you work on her. well, that's one of the things that you can do when it comes, people, is to take and work on their chakras. You're just sitting there, and you can even have a picture of your mother. I have a doll. I can, or you, whatever, and you're going to do distant healing. And your intention, and not to teach it, but the long story short is that you get connected, and you aim it, and you just find out which chakra. Okay, so your ma's first chakra, it seems to be really an issue. And it wants to stay there because I wanted to go higher. And they said, no, she has more than an issue. And the thing is that you can change this particular energy field in that vortex and start to clean out some of the things that are in there. Now, see, it's different. It's pointing, it's clearing. Just going to keep following it. And you're going to keep doing this. Now, your mother's getting the healing at the same time. She doesn't have to receive it. This is up on the grid. When your mom's ready and her soul reaches out, she'll get it. It's not about asking permission as much as saying, do you ask permission? I asked. I said, so does she want the healing on the grid? Sure. Throw it on the grid. There you go. There's more detail with the meridian or with the Bobble wand, but anybody pretty much can use it. You just have to learn the steps. If she was willing, now let's say, like, I sometimes have to approach people that have issues like this, and the healing tools will not work on them because for whatever energetic reason. So sometimes when my clients come, I will deliberately hold a certain point, the hope therapy, and then I put my hand on their head. Now, sometimes if they just take, and if you just have your hand and you just stroke it and talk to them while, they're crying or whatever, just getting the energy to come back up out of stress, because this frontal lobe is where you create reality. And when the blood goes into fight, flight, freeze, then you're not going to be able to fight your way out of a paper bag. But if you were to, if she didn't mind you having your hand there, it's great. If you were to just stroke her hair, but keep your hand there and kind of go back a little bit, whatever, you can help her. Okay. There's a lot you can do, but it's getting those emotions calmed down so those feelings can stop betraying her, stop coming up and making her look through these filters of pain, because it's never the same story, because every day your cells grow old, die, new ones form, grow old and die. And so after time, you've deleted, distort, and generalized, and the cells are so different and new that the receptor just keeps getting locked in. But the story you tell yourself around it is never the original. Okay. There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, if she can allow, it depends on what they allow. A lot of times I will sit there and just pray for a whole group of people. And, like, for instance, like, I'll see my son and I feel like he's sad. I will just pretend I will be the surrogate, and I will heal myself and send it to him. And, does it affect him? I don't know. I know sometimes it does to my daughter. You were working on me, weren't you, Mom? I'm like, oh, yes, I was. And I wasn't invading her space. She already knows the rule on that. Because I received it, So there you go. Anybody else, dear?
Patricia Henson, anything.
Anything. I can do anything better than you. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. I'm sorry. That's what came through. So there's an action step that you're asked to take, and they said it has a lot to do with your strategies. You may not be aware of it, but everybody has strategies. The first part of your strategy is that you don't really do certain things until you've been pushed or provoked or to do something. So pay attention to that one. Because then they said the next thing is that the energy of the space begins to trigger, and you again behave a certain way, and that puts you into what is it they want. And you can feel when people have their particular outcomes, and so then you anticipate it and start to fill that need. But now you're like, and you do all this so you can be happy at the end. It's like you have to go through all of these hurdles and shit to get there. And there's your body's tired. Your body is just like, I don't want to do that anymore. All right, anybody else?
Me.
Wonderful. Okay. Oops. Let me push the right buttoning. Okay. Now, anything particular, sweetheart?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right. Amy, you've been exposed to a psychic attack trauma. You have felt two emotions from, well, I'm not going to say his name, but you felt them. And they've been going off like bells inside of you. And we're going to take them out. The first one is, where is it at? Disdainfulness. Ooh, it's been beneath you, or you're beneath. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Disdainfulness.
Uh-huh.
And the third one, or second one, is that stubbornness. Now, somebody had these feelings, and she picked those up and at the same time and stored them, so it becomes a trauma. Understand? This is a psychic trauma. So it's not that they were directed. Were they directed towards you? No. They were in the air floating. It's like when you fight and you leave your shit in the room and you leave and your kids go in that room, they were happy, and then they become angry because that's astral energy. You guys need to clean up your shit along the way. So, Miss Aim, take your magnet. And you're going to say psychic trauma, and you're going to say stubbornness and disdainfulness. There you go. Now, what she's doing, she's taking it, she's just rubbing along her head, down her spine, psychic trauma, stubbornness, and disdainfulness. And she's going to do that 3 times, but she's going to do it a little longer because she also is holding a picture. You saw, this person wasn't in front of you, were they?
No.
You've heard them with your ears, but you actually drew a picture in your eyes.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know if you told me the story, you could draw that picture again and again. Now, notice which eye you're looking through.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in this case, she's going to she's going to cover up her left, look through her right, and put on a scale from 0 to 10. 10 being, oh my God, yeah, I can see the asshole doing that. Mm-hmm. You can remember step by step, and we're just going to remove, transcend, let it go, let it go. Now switch eyes. You can stop rolling. Okay, so as you look now at this, all that same thing through just that eye, what number is it?
Yeah, it's not as bad.
No, not as bad. So we're going to just start to remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. Switch eyes, deliberately look through the other eye and look at everything as we did before. What number?
4.
Okay, now really take and start to remove and transcend and let that go and realize that I can be done with this. I'm really good at getting it gone. Switch eyes. What number is it now? 2. And if you're looking at it, you're going, I can still see it. I know the asshole's going to do it again. Now notice how the word asshole comes up. Now, whether I'm saying it or she's saying it, there's a name she's calling. I want you to start to remove, transcend, let go of the name, let go of the picture, because you're like, oh, but I need him. It's not about revenge. It's that you don't want them to get away with it. We're going to remove, transcend, let it go, let it go. Now switch eyes. What number is it? Half. She only got a 0.5. Now, notice that there was this particular outcome that had to happen. And all right, so remove, transcend, let it go, let it go, let it go. Switch eyes. What number you got?
0.
All right, so then you just completely clear out the residue and switch eyes. Now what do you got?
0.
Very good. Now she's all done with that. And the thing is that now she's taken it out of her sensory system, because you take pictures with your sensory system. And she's also taken it out of her governing meridian, out of the body. So it's calming down the roots. It's calming down that fresh experience. And so she doesn't have to be in that space. Does that make any sense? Very good. Okay, so do you feel better?
Yes, I do.
And so when you think of that imagery or that incident that just happened, how long ago did it happen?
2 days ago, I think.
So that's 2-day mood swing that her body's been carrying. Okay, so now that it feels like it's out, it was traumatizing, it doesn't have to be now. All right, since there's no more paid readings, is there any more 1-minute reading?
Let me refresh.
Now, I was going to do, and I haven't decided, I may do 12-12. If you are into the meditations, be aware that I may do that. I am going to start up that healing group, like almost immediately.
Okay, Cherie Hunt, work.
Okay, there's also, if you look in the work, I did actually see Jennifer Patricia Bruce. If you can just, when I get a chance, you may read that. Oh, you just love that he's into it. See, and I thought that was that he wanted a reading. But anyway, Patricia, what did you say? Who?
Work.
And who? What's her name?
Cherie Hunt.
Miss Hunt. There's a hidden particular outcome that somebody has. It's kind of like they have this thing they want you to do, but they won't come out and say it. Yes, Melanie, you can. What is this? They feel demoralized by a situation, and they think that you can give them the answer. Demoralized, we'll have to look that up. But there's an uncertainty on your part that's like you don't want to have to help. So I hope that makes sense, but I can see this particular thing, and they said that it's hidden. So become aware that they want something from you. And I'm just going to ask, are they even aware that they want this from you? No, but you can it's there. What are you supposed to do about it? You have got to understand that your interaction with the environment is that they're saying the word structure. I don't know what that means. It's very structured. It's very, you don't like uncertainty, and therefore you don't really want to be part of something, if that makes any sense. I need water. That's what I need.
I just have one more, and that's Betty Green. She wants a general.
All right. Just to let people know, demoralized is that you lost hope, you were disheartened. That's why this person is doing this. So anyways, just pay attention to what that is. And then we have Betty Decker, and then we have another paid read from, I'm assuming Premier Florent. Yeah, Melanie. Okay, so Miss Decker. You're in a program that has to do with your heart, and it has to do with feeling like you lost heart. Okay, demoralized came up again. And there's a disapproval. You being a certain age? No, it's just that you're not sure what to do with this interaction. It's like as soon as you have this interaction, there's a party that loses hope, and then it goes into this, and it becomes a particular habit that can lead to depression. So we'll look at at 3 years old, you became disheartened. You feel like other people's agendas have to be before you. Contempt. What's that got to do with it? You feel people have, it's part of the program. It's like people have contempt. No, there's some type of energy around contempt on that. I would definitely say to heal that. Okay, Lillian's going to pay too. So, Premier Florent, what did you want to talk about, honey? What else? Okay, so get 6. Where are you at? It went through Melanie. What would you like me to address? What would you like me to address? And that's what we're going to do, is talk about that. Things have definitely shifted. I need to have water. Doesn't this make me look like I have a mustache? The blue one, the dark blue one. I always think Hitler's like, what the? Seems so weird. You want to see what Spirit says? Okay. All right. So they said to move into that new adventure. Now, I'm assuming it has to be those pictures. No. Sort of. Okay, so we just went backwards of that program and then we see the future. Okay, they're saying that you need to bring laughter into this initiation process that you're in. Oh, well, wasn't that an interesting? You're in an initiation process? Rebirth in spirit. A threshold has been crossed. The light within brightens transformation of the spirit self, the rite of passage for the soul. A conscious choice has been made. A testing period has ended. Ooh, this is good. New purpose within life and reality. The light dawns and shadows are scattered. Oh my goodness. So you need to go and find some laughter. And they're saying that you need to intentionally put down a list. What I'm manifesting today is 1, laughter in such a way that I know it came from spirit. 2, laughter of being around people and finding great joy. But by picking out certain laughters, laughter in a movie, laughter at yourself. And I feel like those, like if you wrote those 4 down and then you just were to be aware that that's the intention and you're going to communicate with the universe that way. And then all of a sudden the universe is just going to say boom, 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 boom. And you're going to train yourself to find that frequency so that it can actually contradict other frequencies you're picking up, if that makes any sense. So that is good. You wanted to have what? We're about a program. All right. And I really need to fix my sheet. It's all banged up and tore up and I can't see it anymore. We're talking about a habit. A habit of what? Towards yourself. A habit towards yourself that has to do with low self-esteem. Notice that you get your highs and this and that, and it feels good. You know, your pictures and all of this that you're doing and communicating when you're on your page and all of that, that feels good. But notice that you have to use outside stimulus to get that self-esteem. So if I asked what age caused this low self-esteem, and they said at 6 years old when you were laughed at, and I can feel that it kind of like ruined your self-efficacy. I feel like somebody member in the family older than you made you feel a certain way. That kind of stuck. It kind of stuck. And if I said, what kind of way did they make you feel? And it was scorned. So here you are, the woman, woo, woo, woo. And you're like, I can do this. And you got self-esteem and you got this woman power and you got your pictures and you got this. But when it comes to certain particular things, is that it just kind of, well, you're moving past that. And they said, if you do that laughter, if you bring in the universe to help you overcome that, besides using tools, I think that you get past it. But it's a habit. Okay, so the morphinogenic field out here. Now, the Bobble wand can actually help you remove certain habits in your field, because as soon as the energy starts to kick in and the habit starts to form, and to trigger again, you can take the Bobble wand and you can literally begin to find it in your aura. Like I can feel one right here within inside mine, but at the same time, I'm watching it mirror to be yours. And so we would just move this out. So the Bobble wand can do a lot of things. In this case, can remove the energies that keep the habit in play. Does it remove the habit completely? No. but it helps to take the edge off. It helps to change the frequency so you don't have to go into full-blown measure. It helps to balance and recorrect, if that makes any sense. Again, if you want to buy one, email Medicine Woman Solutions. So it's MWS number 4 letter U at doctor.com. Who in the hell is the ego? Somebody's very ego, and they like to hurt your pride. Now, there's nothing wrong with having pride, but somebody likes to hurt your pride. It's like, it's a running joke now. Yes, totally yes. It's some harsh sisters. Yes, a little stuck there too. Still, I will get one. Getting headaches as of late, ear and high pitches. Okay, with that, understand that will probably be your triple warmer and your gallbladder meridian. Where do you want her to rub? Okay, so you may not be aware of it, but if you actually, it's going to sound strange, but I have, because my spine doesn't hold itself, I have to get a deep tissue massager. So it's a big massager. And so, well, I've been feeling crap from the universe. And it's like, okay, so now I can't smell. So I ended up using it on this. Now back here, right here is a point. Now those may be sore on you or may not be, but understand that the triple warmer comes up and around the ear, that the gallbladder actually starts around the face and around the ear. So if you were to deliberately like look up these two meridians and even the stomach meridian, you can find particular points because you have some that are actually out of whack. Now I use that on my whole face. I went through my whole face. I use that massager on the back of my ears. I could feel, now as I'm touching them, I couldn't feel any soreness. Took the massager. Oh, Jesus, that's sore on my head. And I could find the acupuncture points. So I started to just use it on my head, and I did it on my face, and I got all around, and I have to use it here because the spinal fluid don't like to come through. So I did my whole head. I gave them extra time, and it's like, oh, wow. Letters jiggled and everything else. And then I went to the mall or the plaza with my friend, and I was smelling all the food. And she's like, you're smelling? You can't smell. And I'm like, oh my God, I want some coffee. Oh my God, I want a pancake. Oh my God. And she's laughing at me. And I hadn't realized I wasn't smelling, but I was smelling. But I was just like, and I had opened up because I was working intentionally on the gallbladder meridian and the triple warmer, because it just was affecting my, it's causing me to be lethargic and stuff. So like I can feel it right here. Here's one and here's one. Now I'm beginning to remember where they are. So now I just go through and like you can go above the ear and you can massage those. Sometimes you might have to tap to stimulate, but get those balanced. Now normally I would just tell you to rub the source points and this and that, but these ones you may have to manipulate on your head. Because, like I said, I changed my ability to be able to smell. Okay. It should balance out the headaches. Now, I can't let you go yet. The headache in this one, what is it? The spleen and the liver. The spleen and the liver they're doing a little dance because of the way your life is. And they said it has to do with panicking and has to do with feeling everybody else expanded the importance of self, that your spleen and your liver is messing up. So you need to do this point here, get those massage, and then take your 4 fingers and then see where it bends, right where that 4th finger is. Okay, you're just going to hold. This is going to start balancing some of the sugars. Okay, the liver and spleen, pancreas and kidney, or pancreas and spleen. And then you have this spleen point, which is a huge one. And then on top of your foot, okay, meant to find my papers, Amy. I did not do that. This is always the fun part. How do I show you my feet? Okay, so anyway, and can you see my foot? There we go. Toe. See the toes, and I bring it down, and the bone that comes together right there. Okay. You're going to rub those on both sides of your feet. Now, are they frozen or anything? No. And so this will help bring energy to the liver organ, but it also help bring energy and balance it in the liver meridian, but it'll actually start to move the chemicals through, the toxins through, So that when you get these balanced, you're going to feel like, it's going to shift. Now, will that shift the headaches? It should. And there may be some other points, but, just manipulate certain parts, you'll be fine. And then Betty says, thank you. I had to restart my phone after my reading because my keyboard started typing invisible words. Oh, that's interesting. The cursor was moving and clicking, but I couldn't see what was being typed. I took it as spirit telling me to pay attention. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It said yes. So something I said apparently was very important. Oh, definitely. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Also bubble under breast. Okay. Yeah. Get those massaged out, Melanie, because that's important to get that balance. Right now, your body's kind of like doing my body's doing. We had the ascension, where you got the past initiation. We're just like, how do we come back into Lillian, my dear. Miss Lil. What do you want to talk about, Lil? I like to call her cats Lil and Pill, even though it's Lily and Kitten, but I say Lil and Pill. In my mind, anyway. How's Lil and Pill? Pill is, because Kitten's younger and Pill is, she likes to be cute, no? So we're just waiting for Lillian to come up with the answer. Was there any other 1 minute reads or anything that anybody asked about?
Not that I have.
Okay, we're just double checking. All right, we're all doing so good.
Oh, I've got Lillian's face. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
I would love a reading on a new job. At the moment, still working at the same, but looking for another full-time job. Will the opportunity present soon? Thank you.
Okay, what's funny is that I know she went to that one interview, and I told her to build up her confidence. So that door must have not been fully open for her, but she did get the experience necessary from what I can see. And she wants a different job. Does she have to close something? Does she have to learn something? Is she supposed to get another job? She will get another job. She will. Okay, but is there anything she needs to do so that it can change the job sooner? Yes. Hold on. Don't drop the cards, Brenda. What do you mean, yes? I knew that was going to happen. Okay. So eventually you're going to have to learn to sit down. Take one step properly at a time so that it all can work. Okay. Because if you're trying to juggle too many things at once, or if you're putting things in the wrong place, then you're going to have issues. I kind of had a feeling that was meant to be. So where is she in for this job thing? And they said that you are collecting universal wisdom. Oh, so is she collecting that wisdom and so she doesn't have to take it to the new job? So does she need to heal anything? Okay, so you're collecting new information. So pay attention to wherever you're at and what is the wisdom that you're supposed to gather. So if a negative experience, remember there's a wisdom in that. Heal your twangs and pains. They don't want you to take it to the next job that you're looking at. The wisdom in this case is wisdom awaits your experience and application. Wisdom carries for you release and growth. Wisdom grows from experience and is different from every individual in every situation. Wisdom is not knowing, it is the understanding, which then becomes that's how you know. It's not a knowing. Like, I know that. No, that's too egoish. Wisdom is guiding you and opening you to the greater mysteries of the universe. Love your wisdom, breathe it life into it. That would make sense. So as we start to move, see, that's why I feel like 12-12, the meditation needs to happen. One of them is for you, Lillian, is because that's that next shift that we're taking so we can end 2019 the way it is. Maybe I will. It depends on how my energy is today. And if so, then I'll put it out if I do it. But at the same time, feeling what? Attacked? You? Who is it you need to learn from? Is somebody that's at the job site? Is it the older? Oh no, you're addressing your 3-year-old self comes out when people have their pride hurt, and you can watch them cover it up, and you haven't quite watched why they do it, or little things like this, if that makes sense. Because they said that if you really notice how helpless they really are, you get to watch this maneuver, this behavior that's born out of helplessness. It's not always a good thing. It can be an ugly thing, but learn to observe their behavior so that you can actually begin to put a stop to it. So when you go to the next job, you don't have to repeat learning this particular process. You're like, oh, I recognize that. And then when you begin to recognize that, then you can say, okay, you notice that when they do that behavior, it puts you in an indecisive state. That is what you have to heal. Because without you realizing how that happens, you're not going to be able to walk away with that wisdom to that next job. Engram. What is your engram? So there's triggers in the environment at work that what do you need to do with? Resolve? No. Well, okay, besides that person, you feel indecisive. There's more triggers. It's like it causes you to take action. Things will be said. Like my mother used to say something, and I had to force me to do it. Fine, I'll go to call that person. Fine, I'll do this. And it was part of how it was triggered in me. And they're saying become aware of that energy that makes you do certain things, because you're moving into a higher truth for yourself, and you can't take those old behaviors. You do that pattern because that is a false sense of security. That's at safety. And you're like, but I have to do it that way. And be aware of the have to's, because it's not true. It is just an arrested development. And there's a part of you that feels like because it's a man and woman's world, has to do with, wow. Why don't you want her to know that? She has to behave a certain way because they are in that energy. So you really have got to pay attention to how you have to behave that way. It is like part of your genetics. It's part of that male-female paradigm. Because when you don't act that way, there's a reaction that comes out of them that isn't pretty. And that's what you've been trying to avoid. So you want to keep that indifference, and you're keeping this particular pattern alive, if that makes any sense. And the vibration inside of you changes. It's funny because it's not that you contract or retract. It changes to match them. So you bring your new truth down to them. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we don't want to do that anymore. Hello, Jennifer. Nicole. Yes, we have. Let's see. I'm just going to double check. Anybody else pay? Okay. Be aware that I will be setting up those group classes up for healing. And then there will be other classes for healing tools. And then we may end up doing our first class, and that's with the Bobble wand class, so that you understand. Now, if you want to take this Bobble wand class, you may want to buy a Bobble wand first. You don't have to, but if you take the information, you're going to want to play. You're going to want to pick up that Bobble wand and go, oh, I want to do
yeah,
this.
they're fun.
And the thing is that, again, you can take the class without it, but then you're like, but I want to try it. So just remember, it feels different than a pendulum, because it's the direction. Like this aims down, this aims forward. Okay. So that is coming up. So then you can learn to work on yourself. Okay. So I had a feeling Lillian's going to want that. Yeah, so that 12-12 meditation, if for those that are on that next step, it probably is going to be needed. Now, did your cat just growl?
No, I just turned the phone.
Oh, I swear I thought I heard. Wow. Okay, so there's no more paid reads.
Could have been my stomach. I don't know.
Nicole, I'm assuming you okay. No, normally we have you email, but because this is like right towards the end, I'll do the 1 minute. But otherwise, we email. So did you want a 1 minute? And thank you for that recommendation today. That was great. Aw, you miss me. That's so sweet. I love you too, Melanie. We're going to get there, people. We're going to take, in 2020 is a whole new 5D world now. Hopefully you'll not only be in the new reality, but you can stand in the spiritual path. And, you know, you can do this. You can move into the thing. I was just reading what Nicole said. Normally we'd only, let's see, it hasn't come up. But she's like, she paid again. And because it is towards the end, and there's still time. Yeah, that's not a problem. All right, I'll do that for you, Melanie. But as soon as it comes through. So Nicole, I don't know. Let's go. Nicole Byers. Wow, we got nothing. I mean, we have something. This one, really. We're going to pull in the Isis deck, and it's not the crappy group, but the woman, the goddess. And in this case, she says that divine sun child, blessings of the sun flow to you now. It's time to allow your life to flourish without limits, to let your light burn bright and without the veil, just like the midsummer and the burning without contest in the Egyptian desert is your time to shine bright. Then because you are to shine bright, you are to, let's pull one more card for you. The giver of light. What does that mean? The giver of light. Get on the right page and I'll be fine. Yes, I gotta type all this stuff out. Wish I just could magically do it. That'd be great, wouldn't it? The giver of light. That's funny. I don't even see it anywhere here. What? Oh, I found it. Okay, so Nicole, the giver of light is a constant flow of energy which draws from countless realms and seeds of wisdom required for evolution and enlightenment. There is no wisdom without an ongoing healing of spirit, the light that illuminates our connection with the infinite. The light bearer dispelling the shadow, wisdom and understanding put you in touch within yourself, the star of light waiting to shine in your life. So you got some time to shine, babe. Oh, good job, Lillian. Yeah, there's going to be some major changes in 2020, and I know that I'm supposed to take off. And like, what does even that mean? But I'm trusting. Before I get into yours, Melanie, this is a really cool round deck. It is the Cosmic Deck of Initiation. I remember when we went to the person that lived in Perry, I had a round deck there. Not these, but it was the coolest round deck, and I cannot remember what it is. I just love that deck. It escapes me, though. I put Diana to sleep. Aw. Okay. What did you want to talk about, Melanie? because you got quite a bit already. And anything more specific this time? Happy birthday! I think you said your name was Carla Vishanti Plus. Pulse? Whatever. We like birthday parties. New stuff for 2020. This one. We'll start you off here. Okay. So, what is going on for what was that? 2020. Spirit Keeper of the South. The Spirit Keeper of the South. I know we got the East, North, and South. Abundance and prosperity in all forms. Expansion. Surging energy, activity, and movement. I feel like an actress all of a sudden. Expansion. Yes. Rapid growth. Be open to receiving the bounty of the universe. This is a great time for medical procedures. Your energies will be at the maximum. Reading fast recovery and stuff. Your native spirit wants you to know, in the medicine wheel, the south is a direction that symbolizes the warmth of noonday sun, summertime, the full moon, and the time of rapid growth. So crops grow with vigor during the summer months. In the human cycle, it also represents the vitality of childhood. This is your time to shine. It is also the time of great bounty in all areas of your life. Open your arms to receive gifts from the universe. If you live in the southern hemisphere and draw this card, read Keepers of the North instead of the meaning as are reversed. Okay, wait a minute. Southern hemisphere. I don't even know. I moved over here. I don't even know what hemisphere I'm in. What hemisphere are you in? Okay. The journey. Stand facing south during midday. Close your eyes and feel the warmth of the sun. Ooh, that's when you take some pictures because they're going to be smiling. Opening your heart center, absorb the sunlight as you sense yourself absorbing the abundance of the universe. That is what you're supposed to do. Interesting. Now, there it is. And did you comment? Oh, putting people to sleep. What? Ouch. Lack. You want her to get rid of lack of humiliation? No. Lack. Out. You want her to get something out. Did somebody tell you that I can see this. You just lack humiliation. I'm sorry, you need to learn to be humble. Did somebody say stuff like this to you? There's I keep hearing these words. I do love the sun. Also, blood pressure high. Do I need to go on meds? Or is it just the ascension? Oh, you're stressed. Okay. Do you know why your blood pressure's high? Now watch. If you go get your blood pressure checked, you'll be fine. But as soon as your loved one comes walking with their, I don't care what behavior they have, all of a sudden your blood pressure is going to go, and you're going to go. You won't realize it, but then the stress level. I was at getting my blood pressure done, and my ex walked up behind me. Okay, so I had done it once, and I thought, okay, so that was fine. But as I'm doing the second one later, all of a sudden, I watched the numbers start jumping, and it wasn't because I was happy to see him. Just letting you know. Your blood pressure spikes because, okay, I'm looking at the words, and it says, you just don't want to take their shit anymore. But because you feel obligated and have that karmic debt, you're going to keep going through it, and you keep getting suckered into it. There's that word out again. Out. Self. Humiliation. What is out? Self. Humiliation. Out. What do you mean by out? It's what she does towards herself, is that you have to humble yourself. Is that true? Huh? Is that true, Melanie? Because it's that he gives you false self-sense of security. This false self-sense of security is what they're saying that you've got to break the habit of, because your 3-year-old self resonates with him, and that's one reason that it gives you that connection that you should love him or do love him or any of that. But it's he calms down that anxiety, even though he creates your blood pressure to go up. Does this make sense? You have learned through this relationship. Sorry. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. You have learned with this relationship that you can expand your energy, because you got to that stage that you can tell this guy anything and he's like, well, take it. And it makes you actually feels good. But your party is like annoyed as hell, and you know it's time to move on, and you have to keep putting up with that crap. And it's like when I had to wait to get over here, I had to wait until February, and by November I was like, I can't do anymore. By December I started to get sick, and it's like I could feel it. By January it's like, okay, just calm yourself down. I know I want out so bad. February came. I was making skid marks. I was like burned rubber. I was just in the snow. It tells you how much I wanted to go. Okay. So there's a lot you can do, but you got to eventually look at it, address it, heal it, tap it, do it, and you're like, I'm done. Because I feel like you're done. Stick a fork in you. It's like, oh, you know. But he just wants to roll you over and base the other side, and you're like, that side's done. No more tan marks left. You got everything. She just, that's where I'm at totally. Okay, again, I don't know, that word just shot out. That was funny. All right, we all doing good. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. There is no more 1-minute reads, right?
There's one that just asked on the feed.
Oh, okay. Who is it? Who is it?
Nicole.
Nikki Lloyd.
Yeah.
All right, Nikki, I'll give you one. Otherwise, normally we have you email it, because sometimes when people don't take it too serious, Nikki Lloyd. Oh, wow. I just had a hot flash real quick. That means the hormones are off balance, and there's something to have to do with somebody's in your space. They kind of direct you to live the way they want, and you're kind of getting this monotonous. You're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And okay, so it affects the 5th chakra. You feel like this isn't my choice. And I feel like you're doing, oh, now see, it's getting on my nerves, because physically it's like, oh, Jesus. Your body's not happy. Let's put it that way. You know, your body's just not happy with, and you're like, your body's just fine. I don't care. Your body's trying to give you a message. The message is that it taps into low self-esteem, and your body is the one that feel it. Now, you may be the type that don't feel it in the head, but you feel it in the body, and the body just wants to go. Pay attention to that. As far as your hot flashes, Melanie, balance those darn things. Put, you have the pineal, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus. Make the rooster crow crown, or you put your hand here and then hold them individually. Get them balanced. You may have to learn source point healing. That'll be another class that's coming up. so that you can balance those little things. So pay attention to this. So like I said, the first group that I think is good to go is it's going to be to start doing healings. And that is, you come to the group, we do one-on-one, and you're going to start to receive healings and do them in front of me so that you can start shifting and moving. And then we're going to teach you different important ones like the Bobble wand healing, source point healing. And then there will be empowerment to enlightenment class. And those are ongoing. Those will never end because that's about getting enlightenment. It's about understanding the new steps. It's got all the information that's going to help you shift and move in the direction you need to get. Nikki says, I've been getting hot flashes so much like a stroke. Okay, your hormones are okay. Melanie and Nikki. Yes. What do you want them to do? Liver. Oh. So you've been taking on other people's shit. So you're going to need to do Celtic weave, and you're going to need to do connecting heaven and earth, and you're going to need to do the hookup because these are tripping your hot flashes. Doing those individual ones help, but your hot flashes, according to both of you, that your liver is causing, and it's tripping the hormones. And I had my foot up again. Where's my papers? Is that right there between the two toes? The bone comes together right there. Rub both of those because your body's like, I can't take any more of their stuff in. And you understand the way that the liver processes the shit. Processes the blood. As it tries to process it, you can't take any more shit. You can't take any more of other people's stuff. And the body's like, I just can't process. We'll see you Thursday, Diana. Okay, so y'all have been great. And it's time for me to go. What'd she say? Nikki said, the other night I was sending silly videos to my friend. In the background, a shadow figure crossed the ball. It had a long stride, and I had a very dark present, and I feel so much negative energy around me. Don't like to talk about it. But this is where you, for instance, the Bobble wands come into play. Okay, so I'm just going to look at Nikki, and the thing is, immediately I can see, regardless of what it is, now it wants to go around in a circle. So it's circling, but going around in a circle. So you're going to feel the Bobble wand move. It can clear out negative energies. And I asked Spirit, okay, so why is this in her view? And they said, look at her molecular structure. It's whoops. I'm trying to say yes and no at the same time. Normally you shut up during these things, or you translate what's going on. But there's an energy that's coming out that's attracting that energy. And this is why I said you can't tolerate anymore. So there's a person in your view, and it could be just this one. But you're like, Now, the vortex just opened. And now it's taking and breaking it up. And it's pulling it and then sending it. Ooh, here we go. It's doing it again. It's cleaning up. And this I feel it sucking in and sucking out, cleaning it. It's balancing. And Jennifer Osika says, Godfire. There's a meditation that you can do that can really, mindfulness that you can burn those things out of your space. Yep, there we go. Now, put your finger on your belly button and your forehead. Push in and lift up. And hold it there for 2 minutes and then be done. Oh, that's right. I remember you, Nikki. My daughter is in a nursing home with a traumatic brain injury, and my son passed away in March. You did a read a few months back. I believe it was in April. That's right. I remember now. Melanie, if you want a pendulum, you might want a personal one for you. You may end up want two, Melanie, because one personally for you, which means don't use it on anybody else. The second one can be for clearing out that space of energy, the entanglement cords, and sometimes people put necessary cords that you want to do with you know who. So get a hold of Amy, and the personalized ones will cost just a little bit more, but she's doing it in Michigan. She's doing it in the United States to sell it in the United States. Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And what's funny is that I watch all these Minnesota shows, and they all got that certain voice that they do. I can't remember how to do it, but she don't have that. I have more of a weird accent than she does. Anyways.
I think the accent is more up in northern Minnesota towards Fargo.
Yeah, because it comes from the Canadian aspect more, eh? Okay, you guys are great.
Sure, you betcha.
You betcha. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, just remember to share, like, and all that good stuff. We will see you. Remember, if you can't watch it anytime. Look for the upcoming stuff. Like my page so that we can get all the new information. And I will work on getting that 12-12, and hopefully I am going to do it. You've appeared to me 3 times, Lillian. So that's the cat yelling.
That was the cat. She wanted down.
All right. Well, thank you very much, dear. We'll appreciate it. We're loving to see you. And heal instead of deal. Resolve to evolve. And you can heal that. And guess what? Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Oops. And my YouTubers, stay blessed.